Okay, is everyone ready? Bill, are we ready to go? Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Actually, good afternoon. Welcome to the Virginia City Council chambers. This is a regularly scheduled city council meeting, and we are deviating for the months of June, July, and August and having the council meetings twice a month beginning at 4 p.m. So we'll call this meeting to order. Today's date is Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. The time is 4 p.m. We are going to be deviating from the schedule to accommodate one of our presenters who has another previous commitment. Then we'll go back to the regularly scheduled agenda item that you have available to you. Pam, would you please take the roll call?
Johnson.
Here.
Motley.
Here.
Paulson.
Present.
Beyondich.
Present.
Bachschneider.
Here.
Skelko.
I'm here.
Cuffey.
Present. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to move to item 6, appearances. We're going to item 6.4. Matt Reed, our engineer of record from SCH, to discuss some of the items listed on your agenda under appearances for our public works projects and payments. And so, Matt, we're accommodating you. I know you have another commitment at about 4:30 or so. So welcome. And under item 6.4, Matt Reed to discuss 6.4A, adopt the resolution for the supplemental agreement for the final assessments for 14th and 20th and Southern Drive and Chestnut Street signals. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. I appreciate, you guys are always very accommodating for me, so I really appreciate it. I gotta go do my volunteer duties tonight and coach baseball. So thank you for getting me on right away. So the first item, well, the first two items are actually similar, but we're wrapping up the 14th, 20th Southern Drive Chestnut Street project. You've probably seen a little bit of activity on that project going on. We're hoping that final paving comes on Thursday, and then there's a couple of minor punch list items left, and that one should be just about done. And then the alleys are done. They're not done, they're done being paved. They're almost done. The paving is all done. They've just got a few more miscellaneous cleanup things to do, and that project will be done as well. So the next step in that process is to work through the final assessment role and the assessment hearing and all of that stuff. And so that's what these two agreements are, excuse me, for us to help you guys work through that like we always do. I will say that I look back today to kind of see where we were at with our overall engineering budget, and we're doing actually really, really well. We're going to come in well under on our construction budget, so way more than what this contract is going to be. So just thought that might be of interest to you. So I'd be happy to answer any questions on any of that.
We're going to need a motion to do an assessment hearing once again, final assessment hearing on this matter. Okay, questions, anyone? Councilor Bachschneider?
Thank you, Mayor. You briefly went over it, but this is a budgeted expense. We're under budget, so the funds are there to pay for this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll need a motion to set a public, two motions, one to accept and the other to, for the supplemental agreement. Okay, thank you. Looking for a motion to adopt the resolution for the supplemental agreement for the final assessments for the 14th, 20th Southern Drive and Chestnut Street signals.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Councilor Motley. Is there support?
Support.
By Councilor Paulson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then item 6.4B, adopt the resolution for the final assessment for the alley project.
So move.
Support.
Move to approve by Councilor Bachschneider and supported by Councilor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Do we need a motion to set a public hearing? Or I mean, assessment hearing?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, thank you. Next item, please. Item 6.4C is adopt the resolution for the final pay number 7 to Masaba Bituminous for the 6th and 17th Street project in the amount of $167,200.41. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. That project was carryover from last fall. They had to take care of a warranty item that they ran out of time for with the weather last fall. That's done, the paperwork's in, everything's ready to go. We had the assessment hearing for that one actually last fall, so that, once this final payment is made, that's it. That project's done completely. So I can answer any questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Bachschnider?
Thank you, and this is still within the budget?
Yes, that one was within the budget, yep. What we're doing on this, this is releasing the retainage from the contract, so yes, we're within budget on that one, yep.
Looking for council action on this resolution for the final pay.
I'll move to approve.
Counselor Bachschnider moves to approve. Is there support? By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6.4D, adopt the resolution approving the professional services agreement with SEH for the Viking Coca-Cola site and approve advertising for bids. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. The city received, more or less as a pass-through, an IRRB grant to help with this project. Staff asked me to put together this agreement to help the city bid out projects as we've done in the past, so that's what this and the next one's the same thing, just for a different project. So, again, I can answer any questions you might have on this one.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Bachschnider?
Thank you, Mayor. So just to confirm, this is being funded essentially by the IRRR as a pass-through, and there's no taxpayer dollars paying for this?
That's correct.
Thank you.
A motion in there somewhere? Counselor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. I will point out that IRRB money is taxpayer dollars. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Looking for a motion to adopt the resolution approving the professional service agreements for the Viking Coca-Cola plant project.
I'll make that motion.
Counselor Motley makes the motion to approve. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. And the final under 6.4E is adopt the resolution approving the professional service agreement with SEH for the Pohaki site and approve advertising for bids. Same deal with the IRRB project as well.
So moved.
I'll move to approve by Counselor Motley and supported by Counselor Paulson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
That's it for me. Thank you very much for moving me up. I appreciate it.
Yep, thank you, Matt. Okay, thank you for everybody's patience in the audience. We'll move to item 5, which is the consent agenda. The following actions will...
Point of order, Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
I believe we have number 4, the public forum prior to that.
Yeah, we're not going to go for those. We'll go to the consent agenda first and go back to the public forum. Thank you for that. The following items will be enacted by one motion unless a councilor or a citizen of the city of Virginia requests that the item be considered separately. Item 5.1 is the approval and correction of the minutes of the May 26, 2026 council meeting. Item 5.2A, approve the following transit merchant licenses. Jerry Stockset, doing business as TNT Fireworks. 5.2B, Connor Sparks, doing business as Homestead Steaks. Item 5.2C, Randy Domagala, doing business as Domo's Donuts. Item 5.3 is approve the city's entry into the 2026 Land of the Balloon Parade. Item 5.4 is approve pay estimate number 2 to Independence Heating and Cooling LLC in the amount of $153,900. 5.5 is adopt the resolution for Fill the Boot campaign for the fire department's program. And finally, item 5.6, approve the one-day exempt permit for the Alcott Park Brewfest to be held on August 15th, 2026 at Alcott Park. These are the consent agenda items before the council. Looking for council action.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Councilor Motley moves to approve the consent agenda. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilor Skelko. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Bachschnider.
Thank you. Just out of curiosity, which department or departments are entering into the parade? The Land of the Loon Parade?
Yeah?
Which department or departments is going to be doing that? I'm just curious.
Well, as far as what going in the parade, it's the city usually has the loon that they start out of the parade, and that's it's a kickoff for the loon to, after the Land of the Loon Parade is over, to be placed back in the Silver Lake. And then the city council has that will follow along the way and march in the parade. Thank you. I'm looking for approval for this. Well, I'll make the motion to approve the city's entry into 2020.
I believe there was a motion already.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Who did it? Thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Mayor?
Counselor Johnson.
Thank you. I don't recall you mentioning the schedule of bills at 5.2, but I would like to pull that.
So we don't have this on the consent agenda. Well, 5.2 is the approval of transit merchant licenses. So I don't have the scheduled bills on this agenda, but, so let's approve the consent agenda the way it is, and then we'll go back to the scheduled bills. Counselor Johnson?
Well, we must have different agendas because I do have it on mine, so
Yeah, I don't have
I
it.
would like to pull it either way.
Okay, well, Counselor Johnson is going to pull 5.2. Okay, Counselor Johnson, 5.2, the finance. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Let's just go ahead.
I just want to make sure that there is no unneeded or frivolous spending in this schedule of bills, as that is one of the things that keeps coming up, that the city is spending extra money. So I just want to make sure there are no concerns with this schedule of bill as we pay the bills this month.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Is there a motion support for the consent agenda? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Does anyone and on the elected body or anybody here at staff or anyone have a question regarding any items that are on the schedule of bills? Okay, no one? Counselor Buckschneider.
Thank you, Mayor. No particular questions, but just as a reminder for the public, we are in a spending freeze right now, and staff does have pretty rigorous guidelines that they should be following. And I do think it's on all of us to make sure that anything that goes on the schedule of bills follows that. Also with the caveat that by the time it hits the schedule of bills, typically that purchase is already made and it's a little bit more difficult to back out of, so we should be reviewing it with the future in mind and asking staff to remove spending in the future for those items. So I do have a few things on there that I think in the future staff should no longer be purchasing, and I will be getting that list later this week over to our finance director, Megan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and on item 6, appearances.
Do we have to vote to approve the schedule of bills since it was pulled from the consent agenda?
Okay, a motion to approve the schedule of bills.
So move.
By Counselor Buckschneider, supported by Counselor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6. 6.1, Mr. Greg Powell from the Sugar Shack to request the storage of firewood on the west side of the building on the sidewalk of 3rd Avenue. Welcome, Mr. Powell. Would you please turn the light on to green? And please state your name for the record, and welcome to the council meeting, and thank you for your patience.
Good afternoon, Gregory Powell. I was just wondering if there's any questions or any approve for the wood. It's a big staff inconvenience to haul it up from the basement, so I was asking for allowance on the sidewalk along our building. I sent a couple pictures in that it doesn't egress very much further past the light pole that's already on there. If there's anything else that I can do to make that more convenient for you guys. But it definitely helps our staff and my wife with hauling the wood fire pizza up the steps, I suppose.
Yeah, I think in the wintertime, I might be concerned regarding the sidewalk hauling and removal and those kind of things. But overall, I went and took a look at your issue there. You do have it stacked and covered and enclosed, and it doesn't encroach on the egress and the pathway on the sidewalk. So I defer the council for additional action or questions or comments. Councilor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Greg and Aaron, for coming, and the pictures are great, and I've seen it, the live version as well. And I'm okay with it, but the only question that I have is, have you considered, like, safety measures for fire, like a fire hazard? We had, not that long ago, one of the thrift stores had a table out of free items, and someone walked by and lit it on fire. So have you thought about that, and is there any mitigation that could be done? I mean, is that, can you cover it with like a fire protector or something? Is there a
I can look
possibility
further
that's-
into that, but even if somebody did maliciously do that, it's along the building, the only thing that would probably be any bit of a damage would be the light pole, but that's also metal, I believe. So I don't think there'd be, be very minimum damage, if any at all. And to discuss the winter with the snow, we've been there 3 years now, and when they plow the side of that, they put a little bit of an egress away from the light pole. So anything that they would miss or didn't have it, I'll be keeping up with the maintenance on the snow removal as well. And then if there's any other debris or whatever, we'd be able to keep up. It's kind of a signature, now that it was there, I wasn't trying to put it there without any permission. I just wanted to get a good picture of it. If there's anything that, as far as the debris goes, we'd be able to clean it up and be able to remove whatever else there is. It's kind of a signature now that it's there. Everybody kind of questions about it, so it's really good advertisement if it is approved.
Okay, thank you. Questions, comments? First, Councilor Motley, and over to Councilor Johnson. Councilor Motley.
Just wanted to say thank you for coming. And I looked at your pictures, and I guess for me, I think it looks okay. And what you just said in the follow-up, I'm totally fine with. I'll support this going forward. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in today. You had mentioned that it's attracted a little attention. I would even say maybe putting something on the wall that says, hey, this is our wood, come in and see what it tastes like. I mean, a little something it's your wall, that might be beneficial for you as you're advertising what it's there and why it's there as well. So I'm supportive of this and appreciate all the work that you all do downtown and the events you're hosting. It brings a lot of folks in, and we appreciate that.
Thank you. I want to add one more thing too, is with not just hauling the wood, but we did get it from Duluth at about an hour and some drive, because it's kiln dry, so there's no bug infested or nothing. It's part of the health code, and with hauling it, we bring it back and then we put it in totes to haul it in the basement. So not only would it help us do that, but it also helps me doing that, because there's a tripod that I looked online that you can wrench it right off the truck and put it right in the basket, because those bags are waterproof resistant, and those are what they put the haul on my truck. So I can actually use a crane, drop them right in those baskets, so there's actually very minimal lifting and carrying it all. So I've been thinking about this for about 3 years now.
Well, thank you, Mr. Paul. Questions or motions? Councilor Motley.
Do we need to make a motion? Okay, I'll make the
do.
motion to approve Mr. Powell's request.
Okay, motion by Councilor Motley and supported by Councilor Skalko. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Okay, next item on the agenda is Mr. Ricky Angelar to discuss a violation of civil rights. Mr. Angelar, you and I had talked on a number of occasions with respect to this, and you've asked to speak before the council today and did get on the agenda here with our city Clerk, just a reminder, I know this is an emotional issue for you, but we ask at the council meeting level here that you maintain a professional decorum and state your case, and then we'll listen to what you have to say. And for the record, please state your name and welcome to the council meeting.
My name's Ricky Angelar. Okay, you know, I was arrested for getting attacked. And Pamela sent you guys all the information, you got the videos and everything. The very most important part of that video is what that Officer Sands said at the last thing. I'll go cite him. Before even talking to me. She already made up her mind. She said it. It's on video. Then she talks about, then there was no arrest at that time. That was the first statement. Then the second one goes on. If you look, it says, due to both people calling in multiple times and arguing continuously in public, well, for one, you guys all here, what's the First Amendment say? Okay? Let's talk about that. Especially with you, Princess, you probably know you beat me too, you little rascal. But anyways, that was a compliment, you're pretty good.
Yeah,
But,
Mr.
okay,
Angelo?
I gotta stay cut. But, okay, the First Amendment says I have freedom of speech. And also, the Fourth Amendment protects me from false arrest. She said I called in multiple times. Okay, this is 2025. Show me. That's a lie. Plain out, not maybe, a lie. It's a lie. Then if you look at the statutes about cops lying, that right there is either a misdemeanor or a felony. In this case, it would be a misdemeanor. Look at the laws, because I did. And the only reason I ain't running is because of this issue, because I'm not Donald Trump. If I won, I'd be suing my administration. That's ridiculous. And that's why I ain't running. And that cop went ahead, and I never said one word. She says, them guys calling in constantly, you tell me one thing in that second statement that I said, besides I had a video to prove the guy tried running me over. He's nuts. He's a meth head. He lives in my building. How do I know this? Because I'm Ricky Angela. I know everybody in this town, and everybody knows me because of Earl. That's why. Larry, known him all my life, right?
Right.
Okay, I ain't here to make trouble. But I called Maddie, and I called the deputy chief trying to take care of this matter. They lied just like y'all see all these auditors on YouTube. They lied right along with them. You cannot.
Mr. Angela, I would ask that you don't, I know you're emotional about this, and I know you have some.
I got
concerns with
bipolar,
respect-
so this is the best you get.
But please do not make any accusations about any of our staff or anybody about lying, because there's two sides to every story.
No, there's not two sides. When you say,
Okay, so-
I called in and I didn't, how can that be two sides? Prove it, Larry.
Well,
If I did call in, you know as well as I have to use violence and vulgar and things. Otherwise, this is a public, I could call this line 1,000,000 times. Right, Pam? We've been through this. Because I asked her how many times I could call her. And she says, as many as you want. Because that's my, what is it called? First Amendment right. What this officer took away. I'm here, if you look at it, Larry, let's read this together. Ricky Andrew, violation of civil rights. That's what we're discussing and how she did it. So, and you know it's true. So now, I talk to you. You guys get together and you tell me what you're gonna do. Because, believe me, this was when it on in court. Todd Deal said his thing, and this attorney guy says, oh, they were two friends getting in an argument and got carried away. And I said nothing that man said was true or accountable. And that judge goes, do you want to go to court? And he goes, no. And then you'll see in the transcripts, I go on complimenting her for being in drug court and thanking her for her service. Now you tell me. Now, I told you what I want. I don't blame you. Because none of you did it, but you're responsible for it. And you cannot. Civil rights. Come on. Larry, you were a cop. Come on. So don't play cop. Okay, play mayor this time.
Well, I'm playing common sense and judgment and listening to what you have to say, Mr. Langelo, as we all are.
No, I'm just saying in general, I'm frustrated because
I understand that.
I walked these streets many times serving this community.
So,
And this is a thank you I get.
Well, you do have some options. You're not getting any satisfaction from the local municipality authority. You're not satisfied with the police officers.
And now it's up to you guys.
And the judge, you know, if you've gone to court or not, I know that I have the reports here where the citations are issued to both of you. I understand where you're coming from. We spoke to each other on a number of occasions, but you do have some options. If you believe that there's a violation of your civil rights, you certainly can file a complaint with the state of Minnesota, the Department of Human Rights, to make an investigation. You have
And
that
I can
option
sue
to do
you.
that. Well, you have that option, Mr.
And that's the
Angelo.
option I'm taking. You see, I'm doing this
That's
because I
fine.
don't want to go there. I told you what I wanted. You got 1 week. If I don't hear from you, see you in court. I'm
Right.
voting for you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Angelo. Okay, move to item number 6.3 on the agenda, which is Mr. Tom Kelly from Walker, Jew and Hani to discuss the city's 2020A and 2020B bonds. Mr. Kelly, thank you very much for taking the time to come here today. And so you're here to answer some questions with respect to that, so I'll open it up to the council. What the questions do you have and what direction you take? I know there was some emails sent to you about some certain subject matter, so if you're prepared to answer those, I would open that for you right now. So welcome, Mr. Kelly.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Council. Yeah, we can do this Q&A if that's preferable. I did prepare some items regarding the 2024 and 2025 financials. Obviously, we finished the 2024 audit last year, and we're getting close to wrapping up the 25 audit now. So I feel pretty confident in being able to speak on those 2 years' items.
Please do.
Okay, thank you. So I might not be hitting everybody's concerns or comments, but I'm going to focus on, you know, what I think are important parts to talk about as far as this subject matter. So if there's any question as to, well, first I'll be a little anticlimactic, I guess, and say that for 2024 and 2025, we don't see any issues with how the sales tax revenue is being handled or the related expenditures. And now I'll kind of get into why and what we're looking at. So if there is any question as to whether there needs to be a separate bank account set up to track this money and keep this separate from your checking account, there's nothing that I see, and of course I would always defer to Mr. Lindsay when it comes to understanding the statutes, but in looking at the special legislation from 2019, I don't see anything in there that says anything about setting up a separate bank account. And in my experience, I've not seen when there's been special legislation funding provided by the state that requirement, and I've never seen a local municipality choose to set up a separate bank account for it. So that's the physical part, that's the banking part. Of course, really what our expertise is in the auditing and accounting area. So regarding 2024's audit and the potential for any improper expenditures, does everybody have their audit report with them? I can explain if you don't. But we're going to go, if you do have it with you, please flip to page 100 of the 2024 audit. This is the combining balance sheet of the non-major debt service governmental funds, way in the back. So page 100, the second column from the left, we're going to start at the bottom, towards the bottom, where we see the fund balance, and we see that it's restricted. The entire amount of the $6.4 million is on the restricted fund balance line item. Fund balance is your equity, so it's your assets less liabilities. You have no liabilities in that fund, so essentially all of your assets are considered restricted, which is very typical for debt service. And of course, with the special legislation, unique funding situation here, that's the case. The other item, which I do, in some of this, I do talk about negative cash, due tos and due froms, that sort of fun stuff with the audit presentations. It might sound familiar. If you go up to the top now, under the assets, you see the cash at the top line, 0 on the second line, and then 3.7 there on the due from other funds. So that is purely for financial reporting purposes. As we've talked about, a lot of funds of the cities have negative cash. Governmental funds, health needs to be worked on. Those correlate together, right? So per GASB, Governmental Accounting Standards Board, I'll try not to bore you too much with this, you cannot present negative cash in your audited financial statements. To do that, to get rid of the negative cash, you have to record what are called due tos and due froms for financial statement presentation. So journal entry 123 from the 2024 audit did exactly that. And that was a busy journal entry. There's 26 line items on it. So what that does is basically allow all your funds with negative cash to be presentable and accepted by the state and the federal government. In doing so, you need to decrease cash in other funds. That's exactly what this is doing here. Purely paper, no cash moved from one fund to another, no cash moved to another bank statement or what have you. This is purely for to make the audit presentable for financial statement presentation purposes and acceptable. So that's what the due to, due from are for. Does not mean that the cash was spent in another fund. It does not mean that. We'll flip to page 103 now, for if the question was to be, well, what was that cash spent in another fund? This would be where that would be evidenced here. So again, 103, second column from the left if you have your paper copy, 2020 AGO, sales tax revenue bonds. We're going to go to the middle of the page, under expenditures, debt service. You see principal for $715,000, interest and other charges for $717,000. Those expenditures are for that exact debt, that bond, the 2020A, for which the sales tax is to be used to pay for, right? Those are the only expenditures in the fund for 2024. If we go down further, then the question might be, well, was any of this restricted fund balance or cash transferred to another fund and spent out of that inappropriately? A transfer out would show, if you go down to the other financing sources and uses, you got transfers in, and then you have transfers out, you'll notice that there's a 0 on the transfers out line item. So no funds were transferred out of that fund in 2024. So all expenditures were appropriate within the fund. They were just principal and interest last year. I say last year, you gotta remember I'm audit thinking, so I'm thinking previous years, 2024. And also I went on to, in my materials, I kind of explained there's several spots in the audit report where if, let's say that you were, to show that if there was cash issues as far as it being spent in total somewhere else, overall your cash is much higher in the city than what's in the fund. You know, let's say you had, we'll just use arbitrary numbers, let's say you had $10 million in cash in the fund, but the city had $8 million. Then you've got an issue, right? Because then you're saying, well, we are showing more cash in this fund than we actually have. Then you're gonna run into problems, but that's not the case for 2024. Any questions on 24 financials before I start talking about 25, which of course I don't have a formal audit report for, but I got some chicken scratch work papers that I have currently.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. We'll stop right there and see if we have any questions in that
Sure.
regard. Thank you for that. Counselor Bachschnider.
Thank you, and thank you, Tom. I know you've been getting a lot of emails from me over the last few days, so I appreciate
That's
all
what
your
we're here for.
assistance. One thing you mentioned, though, and I'll just stick to this part of what you talked about for my questions, I'll go to more later, but you mentioned journal entry 23. Do you know what page of the audit report we can find that on?
Journal entry 123.
123, thank you.
That actually so the journal entries don't get listed in the audit, but you get a copy of what's called the governance letter that is actually not bound, that comes with the audit. Usually we provide 3 to 5 copies of that. That way management has a copy and governance has a copy. That's how that's set up. So all of those journal entries that are essentially approved when you approve the audit are attached to the back of that governance letter. And that's something we can provide if it's not handy or anything like that.
Okay,
too.
thank you. Yeah, if either tomorrow, if either city staff or Mr. Kelly, if you could send that journal entry 123, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure, of course.
Thank you, Counselor Bachschnider. Counselor Paulson, question for Mr. Kelly?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much, Tom, for being here tonight, and thank you for the great conversation yesterday. It really helped me understand a lot. But what I guess what I want to go back to is, so what we're talking about, that you basically rolled it up or took care of the negative fund balances that we had with the, for lack of a better term, the extra dollars that were in the pooled cash. Is that not correct? Or you took from the pooled cash to zero out negative fund balances?
So what you do when you have negative cash, not negative fund balance in a fund, you can show negative fund balance in a fund. If you have negative cash, you use that due to, due from entry to zero it out. That does not need to be in the same bank account. That is just, let's say, hard to come up with an example off the top of my head, but, you know, obviously the city has multiple cash and investment accounts that make up that cash line item on your financial statements. You're going to be, it doesn't have to be out of the same bank account to zero out the ones with negative cash.
Okay.
Is that satisfactory for an answer?
I think we're going down the right path.
Okay.
But what I want to know, so say if we didn't collect anything above and beyond the $1.8 million that the city's obligation is, that's the bond payment, the annual bond payment. What would have happened at that point during the audit then with any of the negative cash fund balances?
So you're obviously cash strong in this account, right? Or in this fund, excuse me. So if the negative fund balance, the negative cash balances would have had to been shored up by other funds, essentially.
Okay?
So that entry would have, you know, instead of being 26 line items, it would have been significantly larger.
Okay, so that being said, we just made a motion now to move forward, and anything, I think it's my understanding that all the sales tax is going into the 4M investment account. Is that correct, Megan?
Yes, starting June.
Starting June?
Starting
Okay.
tomorrow's deposit.
So, and then Megan, just for my own clarification, so I understand how this is going to work, then how often do we make the bond payment?
That's twice a year.
Twice?
Yep, 2 times a
So,
year.
okay, so then we would be asked to approve the payment halfway through the year and then the end of year, whenever the payments are. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's how that'll flow?
Yep, that
Okay.
is, that's the idea.
Okay, so just so I'm understanding, okay, so now, in theory, we're really not now, we're actually taking the physical cash and putting it into the 4M investment account. So when you do the audit, the due to, due from, the entries at the end of the year, how does that work when you've got restricted cash in a 4M investment account? And you will not be able to, I mean, I don't know your rules, but I
No,
don't.
that's a good question. I'll try not to get too technical. So on the government-wide financial statements, which are not your financial statements that you use to typically make decisions or approve of every month because you use fund accounting for that, your government-wide is supposed to make you present, that's one of the 3 sets of financial statements you present, and it's supposed to make it look more like a corporation. You show restricted cash on that statement on page 14. In the funds, in governmental funds, you do not. So even if it's in a different bank account, that entry is still I'm an accountant, not a poet. The idea of it is still the same. And because all those different cash accounts are on the same balance sheet line item in your financial statements.
So you're using that then to basically balance it at the end of the
To,
year?
to make the report acceptable, right? Yes.
Presentable.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So then, in terms of the way we've been entering it currently in '24 and now you're working on '25, do you recommend doing it any differently now that we have the motion that we will be investing all of the dollars, not just the excess above and beyond the bond payment? Do you have any different guidance for us as to how we manage that going forward?
So, I mean, there's a few ways to answer that question, whether you're talking accounting or actual cash flow management, which of course, we're auditors, but you can go as detailed, in the general ledger, so you're accounting, the details of it per se. You'll have a new asset account, right, Megan? For which this cash will be put into from your checking account, right? That's the idea behind this, is I'm understanding, right? So that will be, if you ask to see a Cassell report, which is your accounting software, right? You'll see that with a different 5 digits than your general checking account, which is spread across all your funds. If you're gonna have this one-to-one, basically, investment physical account at the institution, and then your general ledger account, you'll see that if you get that detail from your accounting software. Still, it'll be on the same line items in your audit report, because if you were to, well, there's of course rules that make you summarize things, but your audit report right now is, from '24 was 130 pages. That thing would be probably, who knows how many pages if you added all the account and got much more detail in here, right?
Okay.
So there's ways that you would be able to analyze it differently, but as far as when you get the final audit report, you won't see anything on those pages we just looked at that look any different than they do now.
Understood. Okay, thank you for that. And then, I guess the big question, and I think we covered this pretty much when I talked with you yesterday, but the big question that I think most of us have is the 3.7 million, and that's still not a total solid number, Britt, is that correct, right? Okay, so that after how do you say it, arbitrage?
Sounds right.
Arbitrage.
Close enough.
I don't want to say it wrong, but after that process happens, then we would have because that takes off of any fees or administrative, anything like that, or any allowable expense, correct? That's what.
Well, I don't know that the 3.7 is totally in relation to that, though, because that 3.7 is purely for the accounting, like for this. Again, the cash did not physically leave the fund, leave the bank, anything like that. If that entry could have been reversed on 1/1/25, and you'd get a report, and that 3.7 is gone. It's all moved up into the cash line item. And then all your other funds would show negative cash.
And I'm
going forward.
following you, and I really appreciate you going through it again, because it helps me. But I think the question that a lot of us have then is that 3.7 or approximate number, is that sitting in the city's checking account? And I'm assuming it is. Is that correct?
Yeah, with cash and investments, we do have $3.7 million.
Wait, say that right.
But yeah, with cash and investments, we do have $3.7 million
So-
and above. Of course, we have the pooled cash, so, we don't have $3.7 million that we could pay out today on a single item, but we do have that balance.
Okay, I don't understand that, because when I was talking to Mr. Kelly yesterday, he said there are no journal entries showing any expense.
Oh, are you talking about physical, like the checking account, the physical dollars, or are you talking about the fund balance?
I would be talking about the $3.7 million of cash that has been collected that should be sitting in the general checking account if there are no entries of expenses in the '24 audit and currently working through the '25 audit showing no expenditures, then it shouldn't be theoretically, that money, the 3.7, should be sitting in our pooled cash. And is that this, is pooled cash the same thing as a checking account?
The checking account is pooled among your funds, so are other accounts. So if you're talking like current, present day, I can't really speak on that per se, but, well, I can't because we haven't looked at anything for 2026. But the idea is that again, that 3.7, to me, it's not a number to get too focused on because, again, it's just to get the financials to where nothing shows negative cash in the audit report because the state and whatnot, the higher bodies they're not gonna accept audit. You're not following GASB. So the 3 points.
I'm following you on that. And I understand that your concern is the audit report.
Right.
My concern is the cash.
And that's something that I guess I can't speak on currently as far as.
And so
where
I
cash
need
flows.
to know, according to my conversation yesterday, we should have 3.7 million that we could then transfer into our 4M account.
We do not have $3.7 million that we can transfer into the audit account or into the sales tax account. What we have is, because we do have pooled cash, and maybe, Tom, you can help me explain this.
Sure.
Because I'm not sure I'm doing a great job. So like, when you have multiple businesses running out of one bank account, it is like, so this fund has a balance of $3.7 million. We have other funds that have negative cash. So it's like running multiple streams of business coming out of the one bank account. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and in your software, you can run a bank reconciliation that shows that checking account. And it basically, so I am an accountant and kind of nerdy with this. I still reconcile my own checkbook. I realize people don't do that anymore, but basically, that is what the idea of a bank reconciliation is. So you have your bank balance plus deposits in transit minus outstanding checks, book balance, right? Then that book balance, being that you have, how many funds do you know off the top? A lot of funds.
Off the top of my head, no, we have
A lot of funds. That book balance is then spread across all those. And then on your bank reconciliation, you have a list of what your cash balance is by fund at any given time, at the end of a month after the reconciliation's been performed.
If these funds cannot be touched and they're restricted and can only be used, how can you intertwine those funds with anything that's negative? That doesn't make sense to me. Those are to be set aside for use only. And I've got emails from Baker Tilly and our staff stating how that can be used.
Sure.
So what you're saying, I understand from the accounting, the balancing of being able to present a presentable audit report to the state, that's how you do it on paper. But still, there's physical cash. So here's the spreadsheet that I was referencing and that we got a long time ago.
Okay.
So it stops on February 1st, 2025. So if I may, Mayor, if I may continue, if you don't mind.
Please continue,
Thank
Councilor
you.
Paulson.
This is like a hybrid of a committee of the whole and a council meeting, so it's a little odd. So in 2/1/21, okay. Oh, so wait, those were the wrong dates. Oh, no, this is 2021. Okay, so from February of 21, our actual sales tax revenues, we collected 1.822 million. So then you minus the bond payment that year, the bond payment was 1.146, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give you the years and I'm gonna give you the overage or the extra,
Okay.
okay? So.
Is this what you mentioned this report yesterday?
Yep,
Okay.
and this is what the council had been given reports on, like your actual collection
Okay.
minus your bond payment equals the difference, which would be the extra.
Sure.
So in '21, the extra was $675,670.77. The 2022 extra, $700,163. I'm just going to round them. 24, the extra was, 23, thank you, was $474,755. 24, $724,414. And as of the 1st of February in '25, we were ahead $121,071. And that total is just at that cutoff point there in '25 was 2.696 in over collection. So the bond payment had already been paid. We're doing awesome on that. And so that's physical cash. That physical cash went into our checking account. And is that where you're considering that's part of our pooled cash? But if that cash cannot, because that's physical cash coming from the state of Minnesota, and if that cash cannot be used for anything, general fund operating, paying the bills, whatever, it should be still sitting in the checking account.
So it sounds like the example I gave when I said if there was, just using the arbitrary numbers, like if there was 10 million in the fund,
Yep.
but you only have 8, that's maybe what you're describing, but I really couldn't speak on that without looking at it either, though.
And this can be, I mean, this can all be provided, but I think that's the discussion we're trying to have this evening, because the directive that we now gave is all the sales tax is going into the foreman account so it can earn interest. And that, 20 years down the line, if the Iron Trail Motors Event Center needs a roof, we've got $8 million to say, here, we don't have to bond, the taxpayers don't have to pay this, in a debt levy bond. We've got the cash in this investment account, and we were very wise to save it that way, and that's what the state told us we probably needed to do with that. We can pay the bond down early after the call date, which is 2028 next year, or we could set up this account, but the money can only be spent on capital improvements at the building. So I'm trying to reconcile what you're saying, we don't have the money.
We do not have the liquid cash to take $3.7 million out of our checking account and invest it. No.
Where
Because,
did that money go?
well, I mean, I guess cash flow wise, not accounting paper wise, we have many funds that we were over budget and negative on. And so, like I said, when you have multiple streams of business going out of one pooled cash account, that is where the physical dollars have gone. Because those dollars were not put into a separate investment account initially.
But we've been running on negative balances in most of those funds for how long?
Well, my relationship with the city only began, really a year and a half ago. I know I presented 2 years ago, but, yeah, I guess the message that I've given at the 2 presentations is that the governmental funds health needs to be worked on, right?
Right.
So I can speak as far back as that, I guess, and that's been the case since
Even past audits, we've always had those negative negative fund balances. So my question though is, say we didn't ever collect, I'm going back to the same thing, if we never collected the overage of 2.96 as of February 1st, 2025, how would we have been managing city funds?
That I don't know. I mean, we would have been in an even more desperate cash situation.
But we cannot use that money. So I don't know what
Correct.
we're going to do, and I think that's part of the discussion. But when I talked to you, I think your assumption is that it was sitting in our general checking account. But there, if we're saying that, there needs to show an expense.
Well, with the pooled cash, like Megan said, it might not be expensed in that fund if you're going underwater per se. That's more of a nonprofit term than a local government term. But, it's really hard for me to comment on that.
I know.
I could look at the 26 information if you wanted me to. maybe
But
that
there
would
were-
be,
Just for the record, Tom, though, quick, that 24 and 25, there was no expenditures, so the money should be there.
correct, it should be available for that fund, right? Yeah, and that's what I was, 25, which I hadn't talked about, principal, interest, and a little bit of capital outlay at the building.
Got
Which
it.
of course you want to spend, if you have capital outlay on the building, you want to spend that money on that.
Okay, and thank you, Mayor. I will let the conversation continue. I know others want to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Paulson. Counselor Bachschnider?
Thank you, and thanks again, Tom, for being here. So just for the general public's knowledge, I think I'm going to try to very much simplify the email string that we've had going back and forth, and Megan a little bit since later last week. So Tom sent us an email, the full council, mayor, an email, giving us essentially this presentation that he started with, right? It seemed fine in 2024, fine in 2025. My email response, and again, in summary, is I was never concerned about 2024 or 2025. My concern started when we received the December 2025 financials in January, and then our January 2026 financials in February. And so I sent a whole list of questions and then summarized it with, the bottom line question I'm trying to answer is simple. How much sales tax revenue has been collected since the inception? Take away all bond, principal, interest, and other allowable expenditures that have been paid thus far. What amount remains available? Does the city currently have that remaining amount available and accounted for, or was any portion of those funds used to support the general fund or other operating expenses? If any of the sales tax proceeds was used for other purposes, I'm requesting a breakdown of the expenditures, amount used, when occurred, and the authority under which those expenditures were made. And then Tom got back to me, and a lot of the questions that you were able to answer were regarding 2025. So when was this new event center fund created? Because when we looked at the December 2025 financials in January of 2026, this event center fund did not exist. When we looked at the January 2026 financials in February of 2026, this existed and it had all this cash in it. So then we were able to get some more questions answered in the process of, this was created on February 4th, backdated, no, February 4th or January? February 4th, backdated to December 31st, 2025. And so again, I asked a whole bunch of questions. Megan was able to jump in. And the last email that I sent, and I apologize for scrolling through this, the last email I sent reemphasized, I now understand journal entry was made February 4th as part of year-end 25 closing process and was recorded December 31st, 2025 to reclassify these dollars. However, I'm still concerned that we may be discussing two different time periods. Much of the analysis and reconciliation that has been provided appears to focus on balances through December 31, 2025 and subsequent year-end adjustments. My concern is whether the sales tax proceeds remain fully accounted for through 2026. So I asked that same list of questions that I asked earlier. I said, how much local sales tax revenue has been collected since inception? Consider all authorized bond, principal, interest, allowable expenditures. How much is available today? As of the most current date available in 2026, where is that remaining balance being held? And can staff provide the current cash balance and fund balance associated with those remaining tax dollars? I understand the position that the revenues were reclassified to the appropriate funds, and that's 2025 and earlier. However, my concern is whether the remaining sales tax proceeds are currently identifiable and available, or whether any portion has been absorbed into pooled cash and used for other operating purposes with an offsetting accounting entry. To be clear, I'm not asking whether the accounting treatment at year-end 25 is appropriate. I am asking about 2026. And if you are, and I said, if you're not the one that's able to answer these, I understand, then I look to city staff. So Megan was able to send a response to some of these questions right before this meeting when I was at the airport commission meeting, so I was not able to fully dive into this, glanced super quick. But what we are missing is this reconciliation, right? Like we want to see this. So some of the questions, how much local sales tax revenue has been collected since inception? Attached sheet, essentially what Councilor Paulson talked about. Considered all authorized bond, principal, interest, and allowable expenditures, how much remains available? Not final because we are still doing audit, right? But about 3 million, right? And is that year end 25 that we're looking at still, or is that in
That was
2026?
April. I
Okay,
believe.
through
Yeah.
April of 2026. As of the most current date available, where's that remaining balance being held? Can staff provide the cash balance, fund balance associated with those remaining sales tax proceeds? So then got the answer there. But what we are missing is the actual reconciliation. That is what I want to see. And I have a whole list of questions that will probably follow that, but like that is what I'm going to focus on right now, is we need this reconciliation. That is all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Bachschnider. Any other questions for Mr. Kelly at this point? We're doing some more work with the arbitrage and those kind of things. So with respect to the audit, some clarifications, and I really appreciate everything you've done. You sent us a pretty detailed, some answers that we needed to get some clarity on, which we did do. And we have a lot more work to do to discover and to find the funds that where they were spent, and that's part of the investigative piece that we're working on now. So any other questions from Mr. Kelly at this point in time? Okay, Councillor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. Tom, I do just have one other final point here. Does anything need to change as you're working on the current 2025 audit with how we're doing this, so we can have that information included in the audit? Or is there a supplemental that you can give out?
As far as like cash in from the sales tax revenue funds versus, I can look into that, like something to be in the report proper is what you're looking for, Counselor Pauls?
Or it could be a supplemental that you just hand out, but just so that there's some accounting of that, so the council or whoever, whatever current council exists, will have that historical data.
I can look in to see what we can do. You know, the rough summary that I put together, I tried to put something together as quick as possible. That was what we use call quick and dirty in our, I didn't go into the details of stuff, so I don't want to rely on that. I just wanted to get you all something to look at. But if you want cash and sales tax funds versus total cash, I mean, we can get the details of that ironed out at a later time too, but let's talk about that.
Maybe at the next meeting you come to?
Sure, yes, that sounds good.
Thank you, I really appreciate it.
Of course, and audit is going very well too. We're progressing very well, much ahead of last year, so everybody should know that too.
Thank you, Councillor Paulson. Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Appreciate that very much.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Take care. Have a good evening. Thank you for coming. Okay, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, was under unfinished
Mayor?
business. Yes, please.
I still think we have to go back
Bachschnider.
to number 4, the public forum. I don't think we've done that yet.
Okay, is there anyone who want to speak before the council in the public forum? Please come forward, state your name for the record, and welcome to the council meeting.
Greg Lency. That was really confusing. Are we missing money that we have to pay back or not? One question.
Well, we're not missing any money, we spent it,
We spend it.
right? We're not missing any money, we spent it. Councillor Bachschnider.
How much?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out right now. That's what we're working on, Mr. Lency, to try to find that number out. And based upon the calls to the local news media, I've had a number of interviews, and I explained that very same issue. We're working on to find out how much it is, what money can be spent for the operational costs associated with the Ontario Morris Event Center. You can't, but other capital equipment, paying the bonds, all those other things are allowable expenses. We're doing the arbitrage now. And hopefully we'll have an answer for you and the rest of the citizens relatively soon.
Okay, going forward in today's meeting, on the agenda, there's a hiring of 5 employees and the expenditures of the radios. How can you go forward and spend one dime, hire one person, or do anything financially until we have the answers for that question? How can you do that? How are you going to hire 5 people? That's $500,000. How are you going to put the radios on there? How are you going to do anything? How are you going to pay for that ladder truck? $3 million. How are we going to do any of that? How do we do that?
Are you asking me a question?
I wish
You're
I had
asking me
the
a question?
answers for you guys. I
don't
wish
have
I could
the-
help.
We don't have the answers either. We're trying to figure that out. As elected body, we live here too, just like you do, and we're trying to figure it out, and we'll try to do that, Mr. Johnson, as much as we can.
So on this agenda,
Make it our best effort to do so.
where you're going to vote possibly tonight to hire 5 people. How are you going to square that with the taxpayers? How do we square that with the people writing the checks? How do we do that? We can put that off, and we can put the radios off, and any other expenditures that are critical to our life today.
We'll be talking about both the hires later on the agenda and the radios, which are probably needed for the public safety people moving
For
forward.
what
So
purpose?
We'll talk about it.
Is
And
Motorola going to discontinue analog radio for millions and millions of businesses around the world that still use analog Motorola radios? Mintac, private businesses, other police forces, Chisholm, Gilbert, Hibbing. Is Motorola going to say tomorrow, we're done, can't use your radios anymore?
Well,
Or is it just that we would like to have the latest, greatest digital encrypted radios? Is that what we're talking about?
no, it's not. And when we get to that subject matter, you can sit here and then we'll lay it all out for you. Okay? Because when you have an emergency circumstances, when you have multi-jurisdictional agencies working on a certain thing, we have a urban research and rescue team, we have our police and fire, digital radios, analog radios, whatever the case may be, we're going to be discussing how those work in the area of public safety, not private business, in the area of public safety. So we'll be talking about those things, Mr. Lency. I know you've.
They work
brought this in
every day.
Over and over and over again. We understand that. We'll discuss it. We'll make that decision moving forward. Anything else, Mr. Lency?
I don't think so.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Okay, is there anybody else that would like to step forward and speak today? Okay, thank you. Now we'll move to item 7, which is unfinished business. Item 7.1, the Mesabi Humane Society. It says shelter, but we'll just say the Mesabi Humane Society. So Pam sent an email. There was a formal request about laying out to all of us from the Humane Society about our statutory obligations with respect to the dogs and picking the dogs up, what we do, and we do not have a current contract, as Hibbing does not as well, and then we're not following the statutory requirements. And I do know, and I'm going to say this because I'll say this at the meeting, hopefully, most of the people that bring their dogs to the Humane Society, as obviously there's not a contract, so Mesabi Humane Society doesn't accept the animals and without a contract. I guess that's understandable. But they're asking everybody to call me, the mayor, and bring their dogs to me, and the cats as well, knocking on my door, leaving them at my doorstep, bringing them into my office, and those kind of things. Well, that doesn't work. Trying to, but we can in order to accommodate and find a reasonable way in which to come with a contract. We are working with another vendor right now. In fact, we're working with the city of Hibbing to look at another alternative with respect to this. That being said, I did send an email back to the Humane Society Board, asks us we're willing to sit down again and continue to discuss a contract. There's a lot of emails and some meetings that we had where there were some statements made that there's no longer, we should not be pursuing this any longer unless you meet a certain monetary demand. But we are going to sit down and talk about it, and I know that we have set some dates. The council has been sent a email with some dates that are available to us for us to meet. So when we come to a consensus about the Humane Society. We can sit down and meet again, once again, and hopefully come to some type of a resolution so we can take care of these animals in a manner that's acceptable regarding the state statute. So we do follow state statute. We can follow state statute. There have been people who have been taking these animals in. There hasn't been that many, but thank you for the general public for reaching out. So that being said, did you have anything, Pam, moving forward?
Thank you, Mayor. I did send an email out to the council regarding setting up some meetings with them, and it looks like we're just going to move it to Monday, June 29th at 5:30, and that'll be held at the event center. And I will be sending out an invite regarding that.
Okay, Monday, June 29th at the Ironton Memorial Event Center at 5 p.m.
5:30.
Or 5:30 p.m. on June 29th. So for those of you who are concerned about the city and the Mesabi Humane Society not having a agreement, we are going to be meeting on June 29th at 5:30 p.m. At the Ironton Memorial Event Center. Councilor Johnson, and then we'll go over to Councilor Paulson. Councilor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I would ask that this meeting be recorded and then televised. I think there's a lot of misinformation that's happening. The last time we had our meeting, there were a lot of different stories that came out of the meeting. So I think it's important for public record that it be recorded and played. Have they presented any other alternatives other than the $600 per animal? And that's my concern, is that our discussion is what is it costing, what are we paying for, and how are we regulating that? And when we have discussions about negotiations, there have not been any give and take with the Humane Society individuals representing as we have been moving forward. It's been $600 or nothing, $600 or nothing, $600 or nothing. And I think it's really important that we figure out what that looks like and how we can move forward with that as a discussion as opposed to what I feel is a demand. I also think it's important to note that when an individual drops off an animal and says they're from Virginia, we in the past have been billed for that. And that is one of my concerns, is that anybody can go into the Humane Society and say, I'm dropping off my animal, I'm from Virginia, and we pay the bill. And I think we have been looking for some reassurances and some accountability when it comes to how we're being billed. Last year, we paid well over $100,000 with some assistance from the county. And we are talking about cutting minute dollar amounts from our budgets every year. And so we are only asking, I'm only asking the Humane Society that they provide information that helps us to make accurate decisions in the best interest of the money that we are putting into that. So those would be my two requests, that we ask them if they have another offer, or there's some discussion. Other entities do not pay $600 per animal, and so I would be looking for some equity when it comes to what they're getting charged and what the city of Virginia is expected to pay as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Johnson. Just for some quick clarity, we agreed to pay $600 an animal for a short period of time until we could come up with an agreement. We never did come to an agreement, and so that continued to move forward until the end of the year, in which we severed that. And now we're at a position where we have no contract. Now, there was a 3-year contract that was proffered by the Humane Society, and I'm going to ask that information be all compiled and all the past information that we have regarding our discussions with them, both through emails and through the forums. And then we'll sit down and have a meeting on the 29th and try to hammer out some kind of come to an agreement of some sort if we can. So thank you for that, Councilor Johnson. Pam, and then we'll go to Councilor Paulson. Pam?
Just one comment on Councilor Johnson's request. I did ask that the meeting be held here in the council chambers, and Ms. Foshee said they would prefer to have it at a neutral location, and I believe they reserved one of the boardrooms, which would be impossible for recording. So if we can make a motion requesting that it be held here and be recorded and televised, I'd appreciate that, and then I can let her know. Because she was pretty adamant about not having it here.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know why it could not be recorded at the Iron Motors Event Center. We have public access cameras that are portable, and they can be utilized and recorded there and then uploaded to Masabi TV.
Is it?
Let me ask,
I'm not
Rick,
sure.
is that
Can we-
possible to record?
in one of the rooms?
Could record? We
In
could,
the-
we,
okay.
in a public access at that? Okay, we could do that. Yeah.
I would make a motion to direct staff to make contact with public access to ensure the meeting is properly recorded and then available for public viewing.
Okay, thank you. Motion by Counselor Johnson. Is there support?
Support.
By Counselor Skalko. Further discussion on that motion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Counselor Paulson?
I do have conversation on the motion,
Okay, conversation on the motion.
on discussion. Okay, so I just want to know, Brian, are we meeting our statutory obligation right now as a city? Number one.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, we are. I'm not aware, and I don't know if the chief has more information about whether we've encountered dangerous dogs or dogs that require a higher level of care. But I haven't,
Currently meeting the statutory obligation, or
to the best of my
requirement.
knowledge.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, are we statutorily obligated to go with a shelter or a humane society?
Mr. Lindsay?
No, there's no statutory requirement that we contract with any particular agency, or even that we have an exclusive agency that we work with.
Okay, so I'm not sure that I would be in favor of even having a meeting when it sounds like we're walking into a hostile negotiation situation. If one party is saying we need to appear on neutral ground, I'm not sure that that constitutes what I would call amenable negotiating. And if we are meeting our current statutory obligations with our current budget constraints, I don't know why we would even have this meeting or put this meeting forward if we are currently meeting the obligations that, or the statutory obligations that the state requires us to. So the reason I wanted to respond to the motion, due to our financial constraints with our budget, I would not be supporting, if we're currently handling the situation, I would not be supportive of having this meeting. So I will be voting against it. Thank you.
Okay, is the proper, can we go back, because I missed her light. So, I mean, the motion is, and for me, we can continue. We have, okay, so, I mean, for me, it's all about having a meeting. It doesn't hurt to have a meeting and talk about it, lay out just put all the cards on the table and find out, where we're at. We're not agreeing to any specific contract or any negotiation tool. This is just a meeting to talk about the situation and circumstances surrounding that, and maybe if this meeting becomes fruitful, to lay the groundwork for a negotiation session of some sort. Councilor Johnson.
And I totally agree with Councilor Paulson on the purpose of the meeting. I feel like this is, again, a way for them to say, you're not doing what you need to do, and we demand. That's why I want it televised, and that's why I want it recorded, so that, again, the first meeting we had was exactly what Councilor Paulson kind of described. And I took it as it's their way or the highway, and we chose to follow the statute, which I fully believe we are. I believe we're, again, I would defer to the attorney and the chief if there's any issues that have come up that have not met that, or if others out there can provide that information to the city where they feel we're not meeting that and they have some specifics, I'd be happy to see that and move forward with that. I think that that's why I made the motion the way I did, so that we can make sure everybody has the same information and that the process is open on our side as well as the other organization's side. So I do agree with Councilor Paulson, though, that is this meeting really necessary and will it be productive? Thank you.
Well, I think the 2 points, is it necessary? Probably not. Is it productive? We'll just wait and see. I think we should meet with them and figure out where we're at. I mean, it doesn't hurt to meet. We're being the olive branch has been set out again, once again, to have a meeting to talk about the circumstances surrounding what they charge. We'll have some historical data moving forward to find out where all the other communities pay and how the Humane Society responds to that. We did have a meeting over in Hibbing with the city of Hibbing, with our law enforcement officers and our city administrators, the city administrator and the two chiefs about another shelter reopening, the one in Hibbing. That's ongoing, continuing situation. So what I can say is productive from the meeting, talk to the Mayor Pete Hyduk. They are in the process of acquiring the shelter itself, but there has been no discussion. But I just talked to him last week and indicating that there are some negotiations going on, but he didn't know it was going to be fruitful or not. So that may or may not be an option moving forward. I don't know. But having this meeting, I think, would be at least have the meeting to talk about it anyway moving forward. Before we hear from the chief, Councilor Motley, and over to Councilor Skalko. Councilor Motley.
Just 2 quick things. Just to reiterate, Brian, we are within the law of what we're doing right now with the state. The city of Virginia is not breaking any violations with the animals.
Mr. Lindsay.
Thank you, Mayor. To the best of my knowledge, and like I said, the chief may have some additional information. She may know things that I'm unaware of. The other piece, and I think maybe the chief may speak to this, is there's a difference between performing our statutory obligation and what may be more convenient or a little bit easier for the law enforcement officers. But to the best of my knowledge, with the information I have, we are meeting our statutory obligation.
Thank you. And then my last question, Megan, is the city of Virginia saving money by not being in a contract with the Mesabi Humane Society?
Yes, I think we had budgeted $60,000 for animal control for the year, and year to date, we haven't spent anything on that
Okay,
item.
and I'm sorry to throw this at you without giving you a heads up, but do you even know what we paid last year to them?
I believe it was just over $100,000.
What I thought too. So, okay, so we're saving money and we are following all the rules as a city with the state. So I will not be supporting a meeting with them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Skalko.
Is with Hibbing, is that in Hibbing, the shelter that they're looking at?
So by
opening?
the airport.
The Hibbing Airport? So would we have our police force driving the dogs 30 miles?
No.
Okay, just checking.
No,
They're kind of busy and they're understaffed, and
Yeah.
adding them another 30 miles back and forth seems silly.
Well, the answer to your question would be that if in fact that came to fruition, even if that was an option for us to consider, we would have to determine if that was feasible for us to do so. And then if anybody had to haul them over, it might be a CSO or somebody else with a vehicle that, other than a police squad car, to be transporting them over there. So
Another
there's a lot-
staff member, basically. We're just
Yeah.
adding staff to the city. That's a good idea.
Thank you. Yep.
I fully support a meeting with them, and I think we should go in with a little bit more open mind. What has been, has been, there's been mistakes, lots of them. So I say we go in with an open mind, listen to them, talk to them, and come up with a resolution that fits all our needs.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? So there was the motion is to, would you read back the motion from Councilor Johnson, please, and then we'll vote.
Moved by Councilor Johnson, supported by Councilor Skalko, to ensure the meeting is properly recorded for the public and to conduct the meeting on Monday, June 29th, 2026 at 5:30 PM at the Event Center.
Okay, thank you. It was supported, moved and supported. Further discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Roll call, please, Pam.
Paulson?
No.
Beyondich?
Aye.
Bachschnider?
Aye.
Skalko?
Aye.
Duffy?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Motley?
No.
Motion passes 5-2. And so one clarification on this would be that, is this something that would require the entire council to be there, or just they can be? We're not setting a meeting for a council. Was that your intent, Councilor Johnson, meet with the entire council? Or we would have a meeting and councilors want to attend, they can do so. Councilor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. That's a really good question. I think it would need to be a majority of councilors as we are posting it as an open meeting, but I can definitely understand individuals having other priorities on the summer on a Monday night. But I think that as long as it's posted as an open meeting and we can get the information from both sides to the public is the important part of that.
Yeah, thank you. Even if it's not a formal meeting, we still have discussion. You're not doing any negotiations. Is that correct?
You could, there's a couple of ways we could post it.
Please, yeah, okay, thank you. As far as, I want to make sure that we're on solid legal ground here.
Sure.
Mr. Lindsay.
Thanks, Mayor. There's a couple ways it could be posted. It could be posted as a special meeting if the council wished to take action at that discussion. If the purpose of it is just to get together to have some discussions, it may just be posted as a work session, which would allow everybody to get together, give notice to the public, but wouldn't allow any ultimate actions or decisions to be made by the council.
I like that second option. Councilor
Second
Johnson.
option as well, Mayor.
Thank you. Could you post it as such? Did we vote yet? We did. Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else on that matter? So thank you very much. Okay, move to item 7.2, which is approve the ACH payment information with the Franson Bank and Sharp. And Megan, could you just give us a little tutorial on what that is?
Yep, so that is a program through Franson Bank, through Sharp, as a partnership where the payments that the city pays out would go out via ACH and check through this program and potentially have some cashback options. That being said, I will ask that it gets moved on to the next meeting under unfinished business, as I still have questions out there for the auditors and for references from other municipalities.
So you're asking for a little more time, so you're requesting maybe we table this for another meeting?
I would request that, yes.
Move to table to the second meeting of the month.
Councilor Johnson moves to table item 7.2 for the second meeting of the month for the council meeting as requested by our finance director. Is there support?
Support.
By Councilor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7.3, review the information on the tort liability and approve to waive or do not waive this. And I had a lot of discussion trying to figure out what that really means. Thank you, Pam, for explaining. This comes from Boyd Carlbom, our insurance agent, Reliable. The recommendation after discussion with the League of Minnesota Cities is to, and Pam, you can follow up on that, is to do not waive as opposed to waive. And if you could give a little explanation about
thank
that,
you.
or someone could make that explanation for us. Pam, thank you. Okay.
Okay, so I did get more information today from Boyd Carlson at Range Reliable, our insurance agent. And he said after some discussion again with the league, the attorney there suggested that we didn't have to, that we should not waive, that we don't need to waive it as what was previously told to Boyd at one of their insurance classes. And the reason being that is we have enough coverage with our state. The only issue would be is if the federal was involved and someone was issued, a verdict was issued for $3 million to one person and the insurance we have is currently $2 million, then that city has to come up with the extra $1 million if we are in a potential lawsuit. So that was the reasoning. But as of today, then when I did talk to him again, he said that you can always buy excess coverage if you wanted to, which would cost more money. But right now, his suggestion then was to not waive.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Boxnader?
Thank you. And Attorney Lindsay, it seemed like you were shaking your head in agreement as well. Just want to confirm that you would concur with that.
Mr. Lindsay?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I would concur those statutory caps or the tort caps that are out there offer some good protection in almost anything that we would deal with as a city. And I think it's to our benefit not to waive those. In the event they're waived, it goes to our limit of our insurance in any event, but in my opinion, the best practice is not to waive those caps, hold that additional line of defense and protection.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I would move to not waive the tort liability.
Moved by Counselor Bachschnider, supported by Counselor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7.4, review and approve the cable communications franchise ordinance. You've had a chance to review that, Brian. Counselor Paulson, you're on the Cable
I
Commission?
really want to defer to Brian on this, but
Okay.
I guess I just have one a bit of input. Since we do not currently have a quorum, the Cable Commission has not been meeting, so I do not believe the Cable Commission, unless they gave it individually to Britt, feedback from, who's the attorney on this one? Is it, what's the, Kennedy Graven, yeah, thank you. I don't think they responded directly to them, I don't know. But the really outstanding thing, Brian, that is being discussed is a location in Virginia with office hours. And I don't know if that remained in here, because that was a sticking point the last time we talked to Mr. Vos. They didn't want to put that in there. But for convenience for people paying their bill or returning their box, I mean, your payment can be electronically submitted or, write a check, but I've heard of situations where they actually had to go discuss their bill. And so to have a physical location in Virginia, Minnesota, with office hours, not maybe like Monday through Friday kind of a thing, but something in there that states they would put an office here and man it somehow for the return, because the current office is, the closest is in Hibbing. So that's the only feedback I received, Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and I think that, before we go to Counselor Johnson, it's my opinion, this is a commission. The commission needs to make some recommendations. They serve as a volunteer in which to review those things. The Cable Commission, if you can't get a quorum, that's our responsibility just to override that and sit down and meet and get this taken care of. If you can't have a quorum, they're not able to meet, we have to take on that responsibility moving forward. Thank you. Counselor Johnson.
Thank you. I have two questions on Exhibit A, page 117 of our packet. One is it has the Public Utilities Office and the Public Library address listed as the same. They are not. And then it also lists the Northland Learning Center. And as of the beginning of the next school year, it's never been a city building, but that should not be a part of this, I would think, as they are going to be housed in Minneapolis. So those are my two concerns for this and making sure that is accurate.
Okay, thank you. So we are reviewing it, and it appears as though there's a couple of questions regarding the location of one building and the issues that Councilor Johnson just brought up. So I don't think we're ready to approve. Council?
I will motion to move this to the next regularly scheduled meeting for a clarification and amendments.
Motion
for discussion.
Motion by Councilor Johnson to move it to the next meeting, supported by Councilor Paulson for further discussion. Further discussion, Councilor Paulson.
The only other addition is concurrent with Councilor Johnson on page 117 in the packet, that maybe we need to add then the new public safety building onto that address as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Bachschnider?
Thank you. In the next 2 weeks, do we intend to at least give this to the people that are on the cable commission and give them the opportunity? I get we don't have a quorum and we can't meet, but could we email it to them and just say, if you have feedback, the council would like to hear your feedback and you can submit that in writing prior to the next meeting? Could we just do that instead? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the Public Safety Center is listed on there on the back page there, so that's an addition, so we're good. All right, thank you for that. Anything else on that? No? Do we vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7.5, this is review the DSS communication invoice for payment. Either Assistant Chief Jonas or Chief Mattson, could you come up and explain? This was done as a result of a fire insurance reimbursement. We're trying to figure out how that worked. And so this is the invoice for payment, which obviously took a long time to get here. Do you have any additional information on that, Assistant Chief Jonason?
Yep, this is in no way tied to the other Motorola. So, year and a half ago, give or take, lightning struck by the old fire station and it fried our radio system. City filed an insurance claim. They worked it out with Motorola to replace equipment. Essentially, came to the bill. Equipment was replaced. Reason it took so long is Chief Frederickson was under the understanding that the league was going to pay Motorola direct. They didn't. Motorola didn't do anything for a couple months until we got a invoice saying this is way past due. He reached out, league said, oh no, you guys pay it, we reimburse you, or we put the money in your account. Money's been deposited, that's why this PO was cut, and it was put on the schedule of bills. So this is an insurance claim, we bought the equipment with the money that was deposited by
And
the
we need to
league.
receive the reimbursement from the insurance company for that.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the council? Councilor Paulson?
Thank you. So when this came up on the schedule of bills, that's why I was questioning, because I didn't understand the history behind it. But if something like this happens in hopefully lightning will never strike twice, but if it ever happens again, like where we have these kinds of issues, don't we have to approve them anyway to begin with, even if it's an insurance claim because of the level of the cost that it rises to? So then it wouldn't have been flagged, it would have just gone through?
Typically, yes. I can't speak for Chief Frederickson. All I did was create the PO.
So should that be the way that it should be followed in the future if we do ever have a situation? Because instead of just doing it on the bill run where it's such a large dollar and we don't really understand the history behind it, but should that come forward and say, hey, we had an insurance claim, now we're asking to purchase the Motorola or to get, to get the new things so that we understand what the purchase is and where the payment's coming from? Okay, so maybe that just could be clarified going forward. And I'm fine with this, I just didn't understand the history of it, so thank you very
Absolutely,
much.
moving forward, we'll
Appreciate it.
certainly do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Paulson. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve the bill.
Councilor Boxer moves to approve the DS communication invoice for payment. Is there support?
Support.
By Councilor Paulson. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Item 8, discussion items, 8.1, because we don't have a committee of the whole meeting, this is the part of our council meeting agenda for June, July, and August. The adoption of finance resolution number 26-011, the schedule of bills.
Mayor, I believe we did that under the consent agenda. I think we might be looking at a different version than you.
I have an old one? Well, how did I get the old one? It was right there. Oh. Okay, that's okay. We don't have to do it again, that's all. No problem. No problem. No, thank you. Oh, we got more stuff on here. Holy mackerel. Okay. Let's rewind. Item 8.1. Adopt the resolution for the 10-year lease with Motorola Solutions for the police and fire radios. Chief? You could just give us a little tutorial, and both of you, Chief Mattson from the police department, Assistant Chief Jonason from the fire department.
I would just like to back up, if I'm allowed, Mayor and Council, on the animal shelter
Yep. please do.
conversation earlier.
Okay.
As Brian Lindsay said, we are statutory aligned, different than an animal shelter and how they're run. The animal shelter, we have had two definitions of close to being a dangerous dog with the circumstances of the incidents that have happened. And without the contract, they had graciously helped us out a couple of times. The big issue is if we have a dog that has to be quarantined away from the house for the 7 to 10 day period, or we have an animal that's injured or absolutely abandoned, we have no place right now to drop these animals off. We do not have kenneling for them. We do not have, obviously, individuals capable of caring for a dangerous dog. So there's going to have to be a plan in the works. Like the mayor said, we met with Hibbing, and I don't think it's going to be a favorable outcome with the parties that were involved. If you want to say the talks about the organization of us joining with the individuals, I don't think the individual time-wise or constructual-wise at this point in their career or lifestyle is going to be able to help us operate the shelter. I do have a meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. with a potential other individual that's not aligned with Hibbing or the animal shelter at this point in time, so I will keep my fingers positive and my ears open and see if we can come to a conclusion tomorrow. So that's just what I wanted to say on the animal shelter conversation from earlier, so it's covered.
Yeah, please keep us informed, Chief.
I will do so.
Thank you. Radios.
Radios, to give some history, law enforcement has not been on analog radios since the mandate of 2013.
That's
We
right.
actually, in St. Louis County, because St. Louis County does the dispatching, which we don't have a choice, it's statutorily through the county you are in. And Brian, if I misquote without having the statutes in front of me, please correct me. So we went to our first set of analog radios. I and Chief Jonason and Freddie are on the ECB and RAC board, Emergency Communication Board, Radio Communications Board, if the acronyms are correct in my head. We attend monthly,
Supposed to be monthly, but
typically isn't. Being on that member, our first set of radios through the NECB, we were granted a partial fundage, a grant through the radio board when they applied back in 11. That was the first 2,500 model radios off of the top of my head in 2011. Why we are not on analog, the whole state of Minnesota did the mandate to the Armor radio system,
Right.
which includes encryption. Why encryption is needed? Within another year here, most Pine County, I'm trying to think who else, there's a couple further south that already have gone to full encryptions. They are getting rid of what you call scanner land. We will not be broadcasted on scanners anymore for police calls and fire, and it's due to officer safety and firefighter safety. We also have, we don't currently right now because of our staffing levels, but when we have on joint task force, those individuals doing their operations grab an encrypted channel for a reason. They are at a location, high-risk entries, high felony activity. They don't want that information out in scanner land prior to, obviously, their safety of doing an operation. So when we went to the Armor radio system, yes, the FBI, FCC, and BCA now, that is the radio system we have to be on. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no other police or fire agent. Fire still uses analog, I think in southern, some rural, on some certain aspects, but the bigger, zero band, yeah. And I am not a radio expert by any means, but I'm trying to explain it in layman's terms. So we are on the Armor radio system. It is the system that we have been forced to go to. With that being said, I have been in contact with Motorola. Our last lease, which was 10 years, I believe, put our radios, we got them late 2015. The ones we are carrying now, the 4500 and 4000 models, were put into service in 2016. Generally, Motorola has a 10-year service life. They do not order parts past those radios anymore. They do not fix the radios anymore. Obviously, equipment starts breaking down. The ability of the different batteries to obtain newer batteries as the batteries you're charging, decharging, charging, just like a cell phone. After a while, they go bad and we need replacements. We have currently 25 of the 4000 model radios, and 2 of mine, the side clips have broken off where the remote mics go in. We carry our radios in a radio holster, and the remote mic you key up on with your hand. Otherwise, you have to take the radio out of the radio case to utilize it. That is a very difficult function when you are wrestling with somebody out on a traffic stop. You need to make an immediate radio call. The delay can be an officer's life, can be a citizen's life measure at that time. So I am asking, I called and reached the DSC, Duluth Superior Communications gentleman, on the 2 broken radio houses I do have. The radios are still functional, however, but the lapel mics will not go on the radio. They can get the outer casing for $2,000, and he is very skeptical if any more break. The parts that are in service are in service. They are no longer making parts for this radio brand. So with that being said, I reached out to Lisa Duckstead, who is our Motorola rep, and I advised her of our financial situation with the city. She has worked, this bid came in grossly under the state bid price for normal prices of radios. For the last 10 years, we have been paying approximately $38,000 a year for the radios between police and fire that have been available. With this lease option, yes, the sticker price is very shocking, I will say. $718,648 and some change. That would be financed over a 10-year period. They are willing to forego, which is our last year, the last $38,000 payment for the radios, because it was a 10-year lease, is due this January. They will delete that payment out. This lease is good till July 3rd with the pricings, like I said, severely under state bid with the financing for the lease program. Our lease payment, if obviously we continued paying the $38,000 on the old radios, now increases to $55,249.17. So it's roughly $20,000 higher for radios that will last over a 10-year period. She also said, prior to the lease being signed by July 3rd, and obviously we have to be approved through Motorola, that first $55,000, $249.17 payment will not be due until 2017.
2027?
Yes,
Okay,
sorry,
very good. Thank you.
excuse me, 2027, yes. So they are gonna waive a full year after when we sign the lease papers. And like I said, it's not that we want the newest and greatest radios, this is for communication. We do joint ops with extreme fire calls, our officer-involved shooting, where we're communicating on encrypted or AES channels through the Armor system. It is a necessity. When those radios quit working, that is our main communication line through dispatch. That's how we are dispatched to calls, is radio and computers in the car. Absolutely, we're reading calls, but we are first dispatched via radio before your 911 dispatcher is entering on the computers we have, the MDCs in our squads. So,
And they're a multi-channeled interagency.
yes.
Thank you.
I can speak with somebody if I was doing an op down in Minneapolis. I can dial my radio I have currently right now on the AES and be on the same channel that somebody in Minneapolis is.
Thank you. Hold that thought for a moment, Councilor Johnson.
I was going to make a motion to approve the the resolution with the correction of the last now, therefore be it resolved, to enter into a 10-year lease agreement as opposed to the 10-month as it is written.
Yeah, adopt a resolution for the 10-year lease agreement with Motorola Solutions for police and fire radios. That is your motion, Counselor Johnson?
That is correct.
Thank you. Is there support for that?
Support.
Support by Counselor Bachschnider. Further discussion? First, Counselor Paulson, then over to Counselor Motley, then over to Counselor Bachschnider. Counselor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Chief. And I know we had this conversation not that long ago, so I want to ask, though, did we get turned down for the Gary Sinise Foundation grant application?
I applied. The application is still out there on the website. They advised me I was supposed to hear by April if we were at all considered. I have not heard any other way. The other grant, which I included in here, I checked on every one you mentioned, and one was we had to get capital, through funding, investment, and the time frame was not through the government's grants conducive. I also, the police grants, one for purchasing $1 million sale. Pretty much all of those grants are 50-50 match, where you're looking at $718,000. We'd have to come up with half of that for the other two grants. And then the other radio one, I don't know if I listed that on here. I probably forgot. The Moto 2s were analog radios only, not for armor.
And I really, really appreciate you checking on that, but it's not to say that that door, one of those doors might not be closed, and if we got the money, could we pay it down faster? Or could you?
I can ask
know
that question. I would not, I couldn't definitively give you an answer, but I would not see why. Yep.
Okay, so I know they need them, and then how much more the holdout did we get, like the savings by holding out a little bit? Did we save a little bit more on that monthly payment than what it was prior?
I can get back to you on that. The last lease
thought it was over
agreement,
100,000.
it was, yeah, I want to say we were pushing 900,000 on that one that they had drafted a few months earlier.
Okay, so I appreciate that, and I thought possibly those grants would come through, so thank you very much, I
Welcome.
appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor Paulson. Counselor Motley?
I just want to say thank you, Chief, for coming. I feel like I'm going to echo Counselor Beyondich on this one. Megan, where's the money coming from?
I did actually think that might get asked. So that would be a budgeted item for 2027. So we would have to budget for it. That being said, partially, we were already paying this, so not to say we're replacing payments, but we are replacing the payments. The difference is $55,000 between, I believe it's around $55,000 between what we were paying and what we will be paying. But we do have some things coming off of our debt schedule in 2027. So we have the John Deere skidster will be paid in 2026. The sweeper lease will be paid in 2026. The loader will be paid in 2026. So we actually will, considering those, be paying less. I think the total on the between the radios and those other leases that will be paid off, it's a difference of $167,000. So we would be covered in that respect. We actually will be paying, but if we approve this, still would have less payments in 2027 than we currently have.
At the moment for debt before the fire truck and everything else, but.
Well, at the
Okay.
moment until something else breaks, as they do, but.
But I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor Motley. Counselor Bachschnider?
Thank you. So I just want to clarify one thing, because I understood it as we're currently paying about $30,000 and it's going to about $50,000. So I thought it was a $20,000 increase total.
It's 38,000, right?
That might be my police payment. I could be incorrect here.
I believe the new lease payment would be about $93,000.
So what would be the total between police and fire and then the difference? Looks like Pam has it.
Pam?
So the total payment per year for 10 years is $93,249.17. this was an increase of 55,249.17 per year for the total. Now they're split, I don't know the numbers.
My bad on the 38,000, so the 55 per year is the increase. Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Your motion and support? Is there any further discussion on this? We have to have these radios. I mean, we got to figure out a way to do it, just like anything else. This is public safety. Counselor Paulson?
Thank you, Mayor. I know we are in a spending freeze, but I do think this is essential. It is essential for our public safety officers to be able to function in their jobs and also safely protect them. And I didn't support this prior because I really truly thought that we could apply for some grant dollars. But it does seem to me, Chief, that the total went down from Motorola.
It did, I will look that up and get back to you on that. I know it was at least between 100 and
I feel
150,000.
like you're about, yeah. So, I mean, we don't have any money right now, but this is essential that you have them to utilize for both departments. And it has to be done. So then would we just, so as we're doing the budget discussions then for 27, is it a split? Is it equal split? Is it half and half? Is that how you guys, no, it's different.
They've got more radios than we do total.
You'll put that in your budget so we can plan for the 2027 budget process.
We already have a spreadsheet built, we just have to update it with the
Okay.
numbers.
I apologize, yes, my 38,000 is my half, I didn't.
That's your portion?
Yes, yeah.
So, okay, so it will just increase a little bit on each of your budgets, but those budgets can be changed also. If we don't have all the staff, I know we want a budget for full staff, but those are discussions that we can have. And then maybe it's not going to increase the budget that drastic, is I think what I'm getting at. So just roll with me here. No, I'm kidding. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Counselor Paulson. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Bachsteider?
Thank you. And yeah, I also think that we have to move this forward. And I think you did a good job negotiating as well. So thank you for that. I am curious, related but kind of unrelated. We've talked in the past about making just a public safety center budget instead of trying to code things specific to police or specific to fire when there are shared expenses, and then removing those expense line items from each of their individual budgets and going to this public safety center. I'm wondering if that's still something that we're thinking about doing, and would that fit under this as well?
I mean,
Megan?
yes, absolutely. I think we can make this fit if that's what we want to do when we're doing the budgeting process. It is really up to us as far as how we allocate those expenses. The one caveat is we, of course, the ambulance is a special revenue fund. We want to encapsulate all of the expenses that we can in that fund to really truly show how much we're spending for our ambulance service, and potentially then request assistance and funding for that. So that is something that we'll have to think about during budgeting, but yeah, absolutely, we can decide at that point how we want to allocate those.
Thank you. I appreciate that call out. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Bachsteider. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Assistant Chief Jonason. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Okay, item 8.2, a review of the city ordinance, 2.07 regarding salaries for mayor and council. And Pam, who put this on the agenda?
Counselor Motley requested that this be added on the agenda for discussion.
Okay, Counselor Motley?
Oh, can I just add a couple things? So
please do.
she asked that I do some research. So in your packet, I did get a hold of a few cities. Population varies. There are some that are similar to Virginia, but with the current council pay, if you included the committee of the whole funding, which if we go move forward without committee of the whole in the future, I just added those amounts on there, so the mayor yearly total would increase $2,400 to $8,400, and the council pay would increase from $3,600 to $6,000. But some of the other cities, even the ones that have a larger population, we're pretty much in the ballpark on some of those with them, but I guess with the elimination of insurance and possibly even the elimination of the committee of the whole, we do still have, this will be longer council meetings twice a month, and then if there are any special meetings included. There was only one city that did allow for a per diem, and that was St. Francis. Their population is $8,372. The current mayor gets paid $6,000, the council gets paid $4,800. They have 2 meetings a month, and then any special meetings or work sessions, you would get $35 if it's 4 hours or less, or $70 for 4 hours or more. But the other cities basically have 2 council meetings per month, and then if there's any special meetings, they're not reimbursed for anything. So some have a work session prior to their council meeting, and basically 2 meetings a month with a potential work session. And this is in our statute, in our code, so we would have to change 2.07, which is salaries of the mayor and council. We'd need to up that, and that would take, or review that, and then there would have to be 2 readings. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you for that, Pam. Counselor Motley, then over to Counselor Paulson.
Thank you for getting this information, and I by no means bring this to the council easily because I am all about cutting everything in this city, but it's nice to see a spreadsheet because we have 850 meetings and other meetings to go with meetings that aren't even broadcasted if you're on, committees and whatnot. And then the call meetings, which right now we are not doing temporarily, and hopefully that works out well for people that work. Just speaking for me, I have lost thousands of dollars working for the city of Virginia, thousands, and I knew it was going to be a hit when I ran. I didn't realize to the extent, and the great thing about me bringing this up is I have no skin in the game because I didn't run for next year, so this does not affect me at all. This is for future council, future mayors. The insurance is going bye-bye, which we all agree to. We're all in support of that, I believe. But just for the public's edification, Megan, what does the city of Virginia taxpayers or their money, what does it pay for me with my insurance in 1 year? Which would be the same for any single individual across the city.
Are you
So
asking
what
what
is it?
the insurance is for 1 year?
What does the city of Virginia pay for one single amount, one person for we'll just say health insurance. I won't even say dental, health insurance. How much is the city saving by me not being on health insurance? Because I want to show the cost savings on how much the city is saving while hopefully trying to increase the council pay a little bit. It is a sacrifice. Our time is valuable. And if you look at this spreadsheet, we make the least for the amount of meetings we attend and all that good stuff. So anyway.
Just spitballing for a single person for insurance for a year, including the premiums and the VIPA deposit, it's probably about $12,000.
Okay, so $12,000 you're saving by me not being on city insurance. Okay, $12,000 saved. So I am asking this council for future councilors / mayor to consider raising the pay, not substantially, but doing something to make it somewhat feasible for working people that lose thousands to represent the taxpayers of Virginia. And I have no skin in the game because I'm not running. So that's why I brought it up for discussion, and also take note that not enough people even applied to run for city council in this future upcoming election. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor Motley. Counselor Paulson?
Thank you. So Pam, can we go just real quick on you've got, the top line is without the committee of the whole, that's base pay, correct? And then the second line is with the committee of the whole.
Correct?
And then if I move over, that's the total 6,000 annual with both. Like base pay and committee of the whole. On an
For the
annual.
council? Yes.
Is that right?
3,600,
But if you add the cow, then it's a total of 6,000.
6,000, correct.
Not the
for
two
council.
combined. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, so if we continue on this, the way that the new meeting structure is going, and that continues, then does that decrease automatically because it's by statute of how we listed it? Or do you have to still change it?
I misspoke. It's not statute, it's our ordinance.
Or-
We
or,
can
excuse me,
update our
ordinance.
ordinance anytime.
So you have to do a first and a second reading of the ordinance?
Correct.
Yep, I'm sorry, we've had
So-
too many.
Right now, it
Statute
lists the
conversation.
base wage for the council and the mayor, which is $300 per month for council, $500 for mayor. But then it does list the committee of the whole meetings, which says that's twice a month of $100 per meeting. So if you eliminated the cow, added the 200 to the regular base pay, that would be the 8,400 for mayor, 6,000 for council.
Got it.
And then the other option is to either eliminate the extra meeting pay for committees and special meetings and things like that, or leave it in, and that's $35 for each meeting. And like,
That would have to be like discussed and determine what we want to do. But the way it's currently written, if we have changed our meeting structure, so does that change the pay structure automatically?
no.
Because of what our current ordinance language states?
You made the motion not to accept the committee of the whole money for these 3 months.
Right.
So it's up to you guys.
But do you need to formally change that if it,
It's just an addendum right now that you.
Okay.
But going forward, if you're going to change anything, yes, we need to
Yes,
update this.
We need to update it, period. Okay, so then that brings me to the cost-saving measures of sunsetting all the health insurance, which I think is a really amazing cost savings. It'll be even further recognized more after 3 more, so we have 4, isn't that correct? There's 4 right now that will sunset starting January 1, is that correct? And then the following 3 would be the next election cycle in 2 years. So then everybody will be completely done. But if we stayed with the committee of the whole missing work the way that it was during the daytime, I would be in favor, and this won't impact me at all, but I would then be in favor of maybe a raise at that point because of the time commitment of people serving, and they have to miss work. And we all know the rules that work is supposed to, let you make up the time, but also Counselor Johnson, has a situation kind of different too. So I don't know how everybody feels about it. We are all wanting to save the taxpayers money, but we didn't get a full slate of people to run this go, and I don't know if that's part of the reason or not, but I do think it still is okay for us to continue this discussion, but it would determine my decision or which way I would go on the side would be determined by the number of meetings that were going to be attended. And then thinking further ahead, if people that are running are work, have full-time jobs, what kind of a sacrifice is that, and what kind of a reimbursement would they be getting to serve on the Virginia City Council? So I think that those are still things that we can consider talking about. Thank you.
Mayor? So this is a question for the attorney. So if going forward, and I don't know if this is how you're explaining this, Counselor Paulson, so those that are currently getting the insurance would are you recommending they remain on the wage, the current wage? Or are you saying then, okay, and then the 4 new council people would go to the increased wage? And would that be something we would have to put in the ordinance, that it would, these 3 positions would end, or would be obligated to then be paid the new raise in 2 years or something?
Mr. Lindsay?
Yeah, so if there was going to be an adjustment to the base wage or to the wage that's paid, any detail or any variation from that should be or would be documented in the ordinance. And so it may make the ordinance a little bit expanded a bit and maybe make it seem a bit clunky for a period of time while there's those few individuals.
Okay, thank you. Any more discussion about item 8.2 at this point in time? We just reviewing the city ordinance, and we have some suggestions, and I think there's work to do if there's any changes that are going to be made in the future. Councilor Skalko?
Just quick, Megan, you said like 12,000. I think, I mean, I'm with HR. I think it's higher than that. I did some homework before this, and it was like 156,000 for all of us. So that came to like 24,000, I thought. Would that be closer? Okay, thank you. A single.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, anything else before we move on to the next item on the agenda? Anyone have anything else? Councilor Bachschneider?
Thank you. It almost feels like, and I get Counselor Paulson's, if you're still on the insurance, you don't get the adjustment, but it almost feels like the easiest thing to do would be the mayor gets 700, the council gets 500, and nothing extra for extra meetings, because right now, that's essentially what we're all already doing because we have committee of the whole. And so then if we go back to committee of the whole structure, and I'm talking for next year, not for this year. Sure. We go back to the committee of the whole structure, it doesn't matter, right? Like you just get paid 700 mayor, 500 council. I don't know how that would work though, unless we just eliminated committee of the whole pay altogether while doing that. And if you're still on the insurance, then you get the 500 or 300 but still eliminate committee of the whole. That feels like it's the easiest thing to do and really wouldn't even be a budget increase at all, because that's essentially what we're already getting paid. And then if we need a committee of the whole, or we go back to that structure, well, then we do, right? Like that's what we're already getting paid. That feels the easiest.
Thank you. For further discussion. Okay, is there any other discussion on this topic? Anyone else? Councilor Motley?
So, Counselor Bachschneider, how do we have this topic not go dead in the water and move it forward on a possible recommendation?
We have to discuss that.
We are discussing it. This is a city council meeting.
Yeah, but you can't just throw it out here and then make a decision tonight. I think it needs some additional vetting, whatever the number is.
And I understand that. That's why I was asking Counselor Bachschneider, unless you'd prefer I asked you.
Oh, no, I'm fine with that. Counselor Bachschneider.
I'm just wondering, should we move this forward to the next council meeting for further discussion to give staff time to make amended, you say it was ordinance language, that we can review? And then also, I think it is important to note that that really we aren't increasing our pay, right? Like it's the same pay, we're just eliminating committee of the whole pay. And if we end up having committee of the whole, then we just don't get paid extra, right? Like that's, so if that can be included from like we're not actually increasing pay, we're just increasing the stipend and eliminating special pay.
That was my
That was long-winded, I'm so sorry.
I understand what you're saying, so I can adjust the ordinance to reflect that and then eliminate the $35 pay, committee of the whole pay, and just increase the base pay. And that this will take effect January 1st
And then the base pay would remain the same for those that are still on the insurance for the last 2 years.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. And I think that the motion then would be to move this to the next council meeting for further discussion to give staff the time to update recommended language.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking.
Support for discussion.
Was that in a form of a motion, Counselor Bachschnider? Okay, motion by Counselor Bachschnider, supported by Counselor Motley. Further discussion, Counselor Motley?
Thank you, Counselor Bachschnider. One other thing, just, I guess I thought it was $12,000 that the city saves by me not taking benefits or whatever. So what is the real number, Joy?
Joy Ritterbush, our Human Resource Director. Joy, welcome.
Mayor and council. I'd have to get the exact numbers now that we've kind of gone around. I do think it's closer probably to about the 24,000.
$12,000 off, okay.
And I, to Megan's, it was just spitballing, and I am the one that works with the numbers the most, so I can get that for you.
Thank you, I appreciate that, Joy, that was all I needed. So let me reiterate, $24,000 the taxpayers of Virginia will save by me not being on city insurance next year. So, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Motley. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Johnson?
Thank you. It is important to note that counselors pay a percentage and some counselors already do not take the insurance. So it is really hard to have an overall individual savings. But Joy can run the numbers and be specific about what's being saved. But I just wanted to make sure that that is out there as well, that there's a couple of folks that are already saving the additional funding.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Bachschnider?
Thank you. I would agree, Counselor Johnson, and I think that we budget for all the counselors to be on family coverage, so that we're not necessarily using that full budget amount then, but that's what we're budgeting for, if not all of us are either using it or on family coverage. So I think that's where the single of about 12 comes in, even though you may be budgeted for more individually, would be my understanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Bachschnider. Would you read back the motion, please, Pam, and then I'll ask for some additional discussion and then call for the vote.
Moved by Counselor Bachschnider, supported by Counselor Motley, direct staff to present an updated ordinance change for review of the city ordinance 2.07 salaries of mayor and council. An email right there at the next council, for discussion at the next council meeting.
Is that the correct motion and support? Okay, moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.3, approve the repair of the traffic loop sensors for the intersection of 4th Street North and 9th Avenue.
I will move the repair request.
Moved by Counselor Johnson. Is there support? Is there support?
Support for discussion.
Support by Counselor Bachschnider for further discussion. Further discussion, Counselor Bachschnider, then over to Counselor Johnson.
Thank you. I'm not sure if any of city staff wants to talk about this. I'm just reviewing our purchasing request form, and it does look like this was a budgeted purchase, and the vendor we are going with is the only service provider for this. And I'm under the assumption that this is necessary for public safety as well.
Thank you, Counselor Bachschnider. Counselor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. I was going to point out that this is the intersection by Parkview Learning Center, and it is imperative. I don't know if anybody's ever had the joy and privilege of trying to drop off or pick up children before or after school, but having that as an unregulated or broken intersection is just a matter of time before a major accident happens. So I will be supporting this.
Okay, thank you. Has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Counselor Johnson?
I just have a question after the vote.
Motion carries. Counselor Johnson?
Thank you. Will we be working with these folks to make sure this is done by the beginning of September? I would hate to have road construction those first couple weeks of school. That would be my request if we could, or during another break if needed.
Yeah, we can find out what the schedule is for that. Thank you. Okay, item 8.4 is approve and seek an audit firm for implementation of a forensic audit. So we have an auditor. We're doing the arbitrage now. We're moving through that, so I guess Counselor Bachschnider.
Thank you, Mayor. I was not the one to ask for this to be on the agenda, but I'm not opposed to having at least a high-level discussion on what this could look like. And so I did a little bit of research on if a city initiates this versus if a community does a petition and requests it. So it seems like communities can do a petition and then the state comes in and does a forensic audit. That's one route you can go, but governance itself can ask for this to be initiated as well if we believe that to be necessary. And so I think that I'm open to that discussion. And so what would that look like? Is that something that we would put out for RFPs or ask some, I mean, like what from the process perspective, what would that look like if we were the ones to initiate it?
That's a great question. We did this before back in 2010 or 11 when we had a similar case with the police pension fund. If I can look back at that resolution, I'm positive there was a resolution that was made at the time. If it's okay, can I bring that to the next council meeting?
I would be very comfortable with that. I'm not sure if others have anything, so I'll wait to make a motion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and I think that's appropriate to do. Approving to seek, we're not approving the audit, we're just approving to seek one, so. And your motion is, Councilor Bachschnider?
I'm not going to make a motion yet.
Okay.
I'm just going to wait and see. I do wonder in my head without knowing anything, right, if it's even the fiscally responsible decision for the city to initiate, or if it would make taxpayers sense that if that's something that the taxpayers really, really want to do, the going and getting signatures, because then the state has to come in, right? And I don't know what that expense would look like if the state has to come in. My guess is, in my very quick research, this sounds very expensive to do. And if it's what we need to do, it's what we need to do. I'm not opposed to it by any means, but I think that I would like to get some more fiscally conservative options on the table prior to this, if at all possible. Thank you.
Yeah, I can concur. I think that for us to seek the audit, just find out what it's going to cost to do that, and find a qualified, certified private firm in which to conduct that audit. The state comes in and they mandate that under certain circumstances. So by us seeking that for our own financial information would be appropriate to take a look and see what the cost associated with that is. Councilor Bachschnider.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make a motion to direct city staff to pull the data from when the last forensic audit was initiated for us to review that resolution at the next council meeting.
Okay, thank you for that, Councilor Bachschnider. It has been moved. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilor Skelko. Further discussion? First, Councilor Johnson has that first, and then over to Councilor Paulson. Councilor Johnson.
Thank you. What is the purpose of a forensic audit in this situation?
Megan?
I didn't have any discussion with the folks that put this on the agenda. My assumption, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the purpose of the forensic audit here would be it's always to review a particular subject. It's never to review financials overall. So it would be to review a particular subject that somebody felt that there was illegal or unethical things happening regarding the financial statements.
Thank you.
Okay. I personally don't understand that, and I would not be supportive of us spending any money on something, as the mayor mentioned in the introduction of this topic, that we already have multiple checks and balances on. So I do think getting the information just the resolution and maybe a little information about what that was, it would be beneficial. But I am not supportive of, until I see a very specific request of what we're looking at and why. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Counselor Paulson?
Thank you, Mayor. So what was the motion again exactly, just to review the old one?
And
Motion just to
present it
review
for
it?
discussion at the next council meeting.
Well, I mean, I'm in favor of figuring out where the sales tax $3.7 million went. Like, that's, to me, what's really the most important thing. And if a forensic audit is what, if it's a targeted, is that what you're saying? It's a targeted? So like, we could say, we want to know what transpired here. They could show us the money or follow the money trail.
Generally, it's a scope of work. So yeah, if there's a particular scope where somebody believes that there's been mishandling, then.
And then just to clarify, in 2010, there was a forensic audit that was requested because there was $4 million in the police excess pension fund that got moved out of there and then used to pay for city bills. And so there was an audit done on that.
So I feel like, Mayor, that's a little bit of my concern, that if money was moved to use for general fund expenses, and that really should, we should get to the bottom of that. That's really important. And I know, Megan, that you had stated, it's really difficult because of the commingling of all the pooled cash. I don't know how expensive a forensic audit is, but I feel like if it's beyond our scope, and just having the auditor here today, he didn't quite understand it because he thought we had the money in the checking account. So I'm kind of looking at, maybe this is something we really do need to do if it's more of a limited scope that would assist us and figure that out. I mean, I don't know what it's going to cost, but I mean, I don't know what the motion is, just to review something that we did in the past. Like, what, I don't understand what that means.
I think the motion is, if I may, is to pull up what we had last time, what was affirmed, the forensic audit, what was the purpose of it, and I'm sure it was for the police pension thing, and then how that came about. So to have that backup information for us to consider moving forward would be appropriate to do so. And so for me, the quick question is that we have the bond, we pay the bond, we have excess money in the sales tax. Where'd that money go? Obviously, it got spent for operational costs or capital. So we have to find out how much was spent on operational, how much was spent on capital, whether or not there was money that was not spent as a result of the spirit and intent of the legislation, and then find out what that number is. If it's a forensic audit that finds that number, that's fine. Or if we just do it within the construct of our other financial partners, that's fine too. But I think what you're asking for is to find out where the excess sales tax money went. And we're discussing this really for a really good reason, because there's people out there that think that the money was stolen, it was misappropriated for, and it's missing. It got spent on operational costs, maybe. Where? We don't know. So an audit may help us do that.
And I feel like that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, sure. I understand where you're coming from.
Just reviewing what we did in the past, I mean, that's fine, but I would rather see a more proactive approach by saying, maybe we go out for an RFP already, or.
But I think that's the purpose of the motion, is to.
Well, no, the motion is just to review something we did in 20, whatever the year was.
It's the process we're looking
Well,
at.
to give us
How
some
did we do
guidelines.
this last time? Yes. It has been done before, and we're going to look at the process of how we did it before. I think it was a resolution by the council that ordered it to happen. They called the state, and I'm pretty sure it was the state auditor that did this. But if I can pull that information, it's been a long time.
So then you're gonna pull that information, we're gonna review it, and then decide how or if to move forward.
The next step.
Could part of that, well, maybe I'll just make a separate motion, because I want to know the actual costs. Because I feel like we would need to do this sooner rather than later. We're already halfway through the year of collection of sales tax, although now it is going into the 4M fund, which I am happy about, but yeah, I would like to see that done sooner rather than later, so I will let the vote happen and then maybe make a separate motion. Thank you.
I didn't mean to step in, but Counselor Buckstein, then we'll go over to Counselor Motley. Counselor Bucksteiner.
No, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. I mean, Tom Kelly tonight did offer to take a look at 2026 for us, so I think that that's what's worth starting there, to try to avoid additional expense, because if we approve this, my first question is going to be, how are we going to pay for this? And the answer is probably going to be from our cash flow, which is our sales tax, right? So like, we can avoid paying for an unbudgeted expense at this point, I think that we need to look at that. And we can utilize potentially Tom Kelly, potentially other resources, depending how much it costs, right? Like my research, it seemed like it might be a lot. Maybe it won't be as much as what my research said, but I mean, it said easily up to 50,000 is what, when I did a quick Google on what has this cost other communities. And that is way more than I would be comfortable paying for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Bachschneider. Counselor Motley.
And I can understand that, Counselor Bachschneider, and I'll support your motion on what happened in 2010, but I want to know what's going on in 2026, 2025. And I just want to read the definition of a city forensic audit. It is a detailed investigation of a city's finances and operations. Unlike a regular financial audit, it looks for signs of fraud, theft or embezzlement, misuse of public funds, conflicts of interest, improper contracts or purchasing practices, payroll irregularities, missing assets or records, violations of policies, laws, or regulations. A forensic audit may examine bank accounts and financial records, credit card and expense reports, contracts and bidding processes, payroll and employee reimbursements, emails, invoices, and other supporting documents, actions of specific officials or departments if concerns have been raised. This is a whole different ballgame. If your city is considering a forensic audit related to a city administrator, finance director, or another official, the scope can be broad or narrow, depending on the focus. I am fully in support of a forensic audit, and I would like to go for an RFP, so I'll be making a motion after your motion. Councilor Bachschneider. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Counselor Motley. Please read back the motion from Counselor Bachschneider, please.
Moved by Counselor Bachschneider, supported by Counselor Skalko, to direct city staff to present data from the last forensic audit in 2010 to see what firm was used and review the resolution.
Okay, moved and supported. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Counselor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. So we do have money set aside in the budgets for professional services. And I believe we have administrative professional service. I can't remember what we budgeted. Was it 30,000? We also have professional services in community development planning. We have money budgeted in many different pots for professional services. So I would think that I would obviously welcome free, well, nothing's ever free, but I would welcome Walker Drew and Honey, Tom Kelly looking at this, but going forward, I feel that it's going to probably be complicated since the 24 and 25 audit don't show any expenditures, but yet the checking account doesn't show the cash in there. So between the time of inception till now, we have to figure out how to unravel that. So I really do feel that that's appropriate, and I'm not suggesting malfeasance or anything like that. I want to know where the money went, and I think we owe it to the taxpayers. And if it does cost money, we have money set aside in professional services in many different areas of our budget. So that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
There's motion on the floor and support. Is there any further discussion for that? Counselor Skalko?
Yeah, I'm going to support Liz on this. I think, in my mind and how I'm looking at this is we got 3.7 and we're using that number. Is where did it go? Like, we don't even know how to budget for next year because that 3.7 was spent here and there and there and here. And how do we actually even start a budget? So, I mean, to me, $50,000 is like a nickel for this. Like, it is 100% worth it. If it's 100,000, I'm sorry, taxpayers, but we're talking $4 million. And in my head, I'm like, 4 million, okay, that's 4 million we gotta pay back. We got 4 million that we spend somewhere else, that's 4 million there. Now we're up to 8 million. We're gonna have to levy this. That's, as you said in your interview, Mayor, we're gonna have to tax the people. Well, that comes with a price. So now we're at 10 million for this 4 million loss. So it's just starting to get big and it's snowballing and snowballing and snowballing. So I 100% am for a forensic audit. If it's under $100,000, let's do it. I'll support your motion immediately following this motion to get the ball rolling and start it at whatever cost to get us back on track, because it's not going to be $10 million.
Yeah, I'll reserve the rest of with respect to what is allowable expense, what's not allowable expenses, how you find out what the allowable expenses are. Was there, is it $3.7 million or is it $1 million? Nobody knows. We don't know that. So throwing out $4 million or $3.7 million, like the paper says, or like an individual called the news organizations, I had interviews with a few of them about that. It's about finding out what that number is first before we decide how, and if we have to be back, and if we do, how much, and how does that work? And it's a revenue issue for us, and the only time to get revenue is through our only revenue comes from the state fundings that we get for our local government aid, and through mining effects tax, through the production tax, through the levy, so on the taxes on the citizens. So we'll figure that out and hopefully find a number so we all have the facts. There's a motion in for and support, correct? Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Counselor Motley?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to seek an audit firm for implementation of a forensic audit.
Support.
Moved by Counselor Motley, supported by Counselor Skalko. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Johnson, then over to Counselor Bachschnider.
I think the staff will need much more specific on what exactly will be audited and what purpose. As the definition and as it was read, it's usually very specific, and the staff will need to know that so they can make the appropriate request for a proposal.
Thank you. Counselor Bachschnider, and then over to Counselor Paulson.
Thank you. I was going to ask a similar question with, I think we need to be a lot more specific. And are we going to seek out an audit firm and ask them to do it directly? Or is this something that has to go through our RFP competitive bid process? Like, I don't know. I'm fine with it. Either way, I just think we need to be more specific and we need to say what the process is.
So the question, Mr. Lindsay, would be, do we have to go for an RFP or could this just be a professional services? Mr. Lindsay.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a professional service agreement, which means that direct negotiation is permitted.
Thank you for that. Anything else, Counselor Bachschnider? Okay, thank you. Counselor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. And I understand wanting to be targeted, but my gut feeling here, after conversations, even just sometimes with Megan, saying the commingling, and that money has been spent since '21, I truly feel you can't just say, find the sales tax money. You're going to have to go look at all the general fund expenses that could have potentially been a part of the.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep, correct.
it's going to have to be broad because of that reason.
Well, you're seeking the specific topic that you discussed is sales tax. And so how do you find that? How do you find the money if it was spent if it wasn't supposed to be spent for the purpose and spirit and intent of the legislation? So you have to go through every expenditure, was it a capital expenditure? Was money from the general funds, from the tax money, excess tax money, was that to pay other bills? We don't know that. That's what we have to figure out.
And so, like, part of me understands the word targeted, but when an auditor is going to come across, it's going to go across all. It's going to flow throughout wherever they.
Right.
So it's almost like a full-blown forensic audit of the city's books.
Well, the difference, I think, if I may, Mr. Lindsay, the difference of, and I went through a couple of them down in the metro area, the difference is that when you're targeting a specific person for embezzlement, or you're talking for a specific person for this or that, a forensic audit was called in order to find out where the fraud was, what was spent, how is that money, how was it taken, those kind of things. And that's what they're doing at the state and the federal level. Here, we have one specific issue. I don't think that we have a problem with our normal expenditures. They're laid out, but we have a sales tax that we pay the bond on, and the excess sales tax was in the general fund and commingled with our checking account, and we were paying bills. What bills did we pay out of that tax money that wasn't authorized under the tax legislation for the Iron Trail Memorials Event Center? Example, if we have a capital equipment purchase or any capital that goes with the Iron Trail Memorials Event Center, that's allowable under the taxes. It's operational cost for the city that's not. So we have to find out what that is.
And I think that is the targeted approach with the sales tax. But, you know, to be very honest, there were things that have happened in the past, like first we have money for the garbage truck, then we don't have money for the garbage truck, then we do. The sewer fund is accrued negative, but now we have money. Like, I really would like to get to the bottom of it. I mean, I'm not saying anything nefarious is going on. That's not what I'm saying. But I have watched over the years and been told, yes, we do have money, then we know we don't. Then yes, we do, then no, we don't. So I think a forensic audit is a good way for us to get a brand-new baseline. And I would be in favor of looking at all the fund balances and everything. So that's where I'm coming from. I don't know if you need to make it more narrow, but it's,
Read the
and the
motion.
sales tax
Let's-
is gonna
Yeah.
flow throughout every fund anyway.
Let's read the motion back, please, Pam.
Moved by Counselor Motley, supported by Counselor Skelko, to seek an audit firm for implementation of a forensic audit.
Okay. That's moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Motley, then over to Counselor Bach-Schneider. Counselor Motley.
Brian, I guess for me, I'm completely in agreement with Counselor Paulson in wanting the whole city looked at, not just the 1% sales tax. It's like 1 week in my time of being here, like 1 week you have $4 million, the next week there's nothing in that account. And then you set a budget in 2025 and they blow through it by over $1 million some dollars in a matter of months, and I'm still trying to figure out how that happened. And they're gonna come for the money, I believe, that's in the forum account. I'm sure they'll be coming for that when we run out of money before the end of the year. I wanna know where the money is going. And I know it's gonna cost money, but for me, I'm the one that put this on the agenda. And when I feel like I don't trust people, that's a big concern for me. So I want to know if I need to reword this motion to include, I've never had to make a motion for a forensic audit. I know nothing about a motion for making a specific on a forensic audit. Help me to edit my motion to make it citywide.
Well,
I think
that's what the motion says. It's
Does
not-
it? Okay.
It's not targeted.
okay,
Correct.
I'm sorry. Okay,
Yep,
that's
is.
it.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
That's right, we're good. Yep, moved and supported. Further discussion, Counselor Bach-Schneider.
Thank you. So my understanding, this is how the motion stands now. This is citywide, and this is giving staff the opportunity to go out and call forensic audit firms, and then it would come back to us with, these are your options, and then we would make a final selection if we choose to move forward at that point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? First, Counselor Skelko, and then over to Counselor Johnson.
I think we gotta have a timeline, like start at the inception of the sales tax fund, go from that day on. So we, like for me personally and for the people I've talked to is we wanna know, one, how much exactly have we made on the sales tax from its inception to today? And then number two is, where did it spend? And this isn't, the forensic audit for me isn't to like pinpoint it on somebody, it's to pinpoint it on, okay, how do we fix this? Where do we go? Who's really taking it up the tailpipe because we just gave them an extra million and now their budget's completely shattered. So like, for me, that's where I want to see it. I want to see it from the inception of the sales tax of the 1%, how much exactly was there? Was it 3, 4, 5, 6 million? And then yes, it's going to get very broad because it got scattered. So then we're going to have to look at every aspect of the city from that point on. Everything we spent, we're going to have to look at. It's going to be long and tedious and ugly. But I think for everybody here, for me who's newer, this is a fresh start for everyone. It's like, hey, clean slate. We are here now and we're going to build from this point on. And now we can really get a good look at what the future is going to bring this place. And until then, we're just scrambling. So that's for me. I start at the inception of the sales tax, everything from that day on, everything spent. Let's just look at it, find it, and show the public where all the money went.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2 points. One, we have a cash flow issue because we haven't raised levies appropriately in the last 10 years. We haven't even raised our levies enough to pay our fire and police department. So that is going to be one of the things that I will continue. And I will remind everybody sitting in this room that they are not coming for anything. We approve every single purchase of this city. We are responsible for the financial reports. We are responsible as elected officials for checking every month everything that comes through our computer and across our desk. This is not a they versus us thing at all. Our staff have done exactly what we have told them to do by voting in this chamber over the last, I'll say for me, for the last 10 years. So I really need to express my frustration that this is becoming a competitive and a finger-pointing expedition, and I will stick to that moving forward. I will not be supporting spending any money on a forensic $10,000, $50,000, $100,000. We have much more important things to do in this city. And I will stand by that firmly.
Yeah, thank you. Did you have something for us, Mr. Lindsay?
Just, Mayor, maybe if I could just
Please do.
ask a question about scope, just to see, just for clarification purposes, if I'm understanding everything correctly. What I'm hearing, or what it kind of sounds like, is what we're looking for is a forensic audit of the general account starting at the beginning of the sales tax legislation. Is that, do we?
Well, Mayor?
Yeah, would you like to clarify, please, Counselor Motley?
I guess for me, when I looked up the definition of the forensic audit and what I just read earlier, like I wanted all of that included, like everything. Did you want me to kind of reread a couple bullet points?
I think the question is, do you want the HRA, the utilities, because they're all part of our normal audit. The clinic, the hospital, is it all that too? Is that what you're looking for also?
I don't think so.
Mayor, if I may.
Please, Mr. Lindsay.
And that was my question, probably put better than I asked it, because deconstructing the general fund account where we understood that sales tax money was being deposited, deconstructing and rebuilding forensically that account for that period of time will show where the money for the sales tax came in, and then the forensic accountant will track to say, this is how we would have expected that it would happen. Here's what we saw happening along the side of it, and that's what's gonna give the detail about where that money is.
And I understand that, thank you. I just, from being on the council and being given information one week and then it completely disappears and there's nothing for money the next week, I feel like it's bigger than looking at a 1% sales tax. That's why I'm really pushing for, I guess, everything besides what Britt just said on HRA and utilities. So, thank you.
Who's next? Counselor Bachschnider, and then over to Counselor Paulson.
You can go,
I
Counselor
forgot
Paulson,
who
that's
had the
fine.
light on first, so. Counselor Paulson, go ahead. I see you're frustrated. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I guess what I was just going to say is that I would expect it to include all of our enterprise funds, all of our special revenue funds, like that to me, not just the general fund, but all.
And I think he's saying the general checking accounts, anything that comes out of the city checking account
Yep.
is what we're looking at. We're not looking at what Essentia pays for their bond, we're not looking what utilities does in their part. The past audience would have HRA at Washington Manor, not what we're looking at.
No more commingling of those things.
Yes, thank
And
goodness.
I guess I would just like to clarify that in my opinion, this is, from my standpoint, this has nothing to do with going after anyone. This has to do with, we need a forensic audit to find out where the trail went. And I just want that clarified. I don't want some counselors to even to say that, pointing fingers or directing, like, that's not where I'm coming from, and I'm pretty sure that's not where anyone's coming from. It's an obligation that we have to the taxpayers to find out what happened, and I am not saying malfeasance or anything like that occurred. It's just, we have to be transparent, and this is one of the tools in our toolbox, or a mechanism that we can utilize in order to provide transparency, not only to the taxpayers, but to the council directly as well. Thank you.
Okay. Has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Roll call, please, Pam.
Beyondich?
Aye.
Bachschnider?
Aye.
Skelko?
Aye.
Huffy?
Aye.
Johnson?
No.
Motley?
Yes.
Paulson?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you. Okay, let's move to item 8.5 on the agenda. The Planning and Zoning meeting that was held on June 1, 2026. Item 8.5A is approve the variance request for Roger Desolates, 6 More Drive in Virginia. Allow for a 22-foot by 30-foot accessory structure for a 2-foot side yard setback where 5 feet is required, with the condition of erosion control measures being implemented during the construction and stormwater management plan to be implemented as part of this construction. We take all three of them at once? Item 8.5A2 is to allow for the construction of a second accessory structure. And item 8.5A3 is allow for construction of a replacement of a 6-foot by 10-foot front entrance to allow a 20-foot front yard setback where 30 feet is required.
I'll move.
Move to approve by Counselor Bachschnider. Is there support?
Support.
For discussion.
Support, we'll say by Counselor Beyondich for discussion. Further discussion, Counselor Beyondich.
And I attended that meeting, and it was very refreshing to see both parties interact and resolve issues that may have or may not have been. But just to watch the interaction and the conversation and have things work out was very special to see.
Yeah, that's in the terrace edition of Midway, so that's very good. Thank you for that, Counselor Beyondich. Okay, let's move to item 8.6. I'm sorry. It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.6, approve the first reading amending the city ordinance, Chapter 11, Section 11.4, Paragraph L regarding signs. Could someone give us a little tutorial on what this is for? Jenny, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is a long time in the making. I believe it's been over 5 years that the Planning and Zoning Commission has been working on adjusting the language regarding signs throughout the city. They've come up with a kind of a two-tiered approach, depending on if property is located either in a B1 or a B2 district, to allow for larger signs, because A lot of the signs that have been in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission, well, I shouldn't say a lot, I would probably say all, have been routinely approved. And when something is routinely approved in ordinance through the variance process, that's really the time to look at that and make adjustments so that it's not an unnecessary variance for residents to be going through. So I'm happy to answer any questions on the actual language, but that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Jenny, for that explanation. And I guess I have a couple questions. And I don't know if you guys had ever, because I haven't attended a meeting in a while, and I attended a couple when you were addressing the signage on Culvert Realty, but had you guys addressed anything to do with like the signs that people leave, like the construction signs after the water damage? And would that be included in here at all under signage? Because we didn't have any, there was nothing in our ordinance that could give any teeth to all those signs around town. So there's nothing in, would this be the location of that section of the ordinance where that would pertain to?
Mayor?
Yes, please, Jenny.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilor Paulson. Potentially, it was not addressed during this course of discussion because that's not what was being requested for variance approval routinely. It was the signs for businesses specifically, so that's what the focus was on. There may be other areas in other ordinances that could address like those type of signs, but typically, those signs fall to statute, not within the ordinance.
Yeah, and this is focused on this one part of the statute.
Okay, so that
Or
would
the
not.
ordinance, excuse me.
We have something in our current, I thought we wanted to address that.
We did when we had the last election cycle, we wanted to address, and then the flooding, like you mentioned, there was signs
There were
everywhere.
just signs everywhere, and some of them were blocking the right of way.
Yes, yes.
And that was a big concern on some of the corners.
Yes.
So would that be the location?
This would be this would be the chapter. It's not in there yet, correct, Jenny?
Correct. There was no previous, this was just an amendment to certain size requirements within the ordinance, and so something like that would have to be a new addition to the ordinance.
Yeah, so we're just voting on this particular piece. If that issue with the small signs.
I
that you're
guess I
looking-
was
you're gonna-
thinking everything would be included. Are there different chapters and then you have to change the ordinance every time?
Mayor?
Yes, Jenny.
I think it would depend on the specific language it was being addressed. If there was a motion to have, let's say, Planning and Zoning Commission address those type of signs particularly, we could do that additionally, without having to delay this sign language moving forward.
Okay, so then let me go back in, before I address that, let me go back in. What is a projecting sign? And it says projecting signs where allowed may extend a maximum of 4 feet from the property line and must be located at least 2 feet from the curb line and at least 10 feet above ground level. A projecting sign may not exceed 4.5 square feet in area and must maintain a minimum clearance between the bottom of the sign and the finished grade of 8.5 feet. Is that, what is that?
Mayor?
Yes, Jenny.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilor Paulson. That's typically what someone would refer to as maybe a pedestrian sign. So they project out from a building to allow pedestrians to better see some of the businesses that are throughout either a corridor or like a main street.
Okay, and then that's under the sign projected. A projected sign shall consist of any sign which is attached or represented on the surface of a building wall whose leading, so it's an attached sign?
Correct.
Or is it a pedestrian freestanding sign?
No, it would be attached.
Attached.
And there was language in there previously about projection of signs, but it wasn't very clear what that meant, and there was no provision to that. So this is adding that additional language.
So that's what I'm wondering. So the projection is an actual affixed sign that's digital and lighted?
Not digital.
Or is it a lighted?
It could potentially be lighted, but I don't believe, well, yes, illumination is permitted, but non-flashing.
And then it at least 10 feet above ground level, meaning that's the placement on the structure that it would be at?
Correct.
Okay, so it's not in the way of anything?
No, it would not be freestanding, it would not be in the right-of-way, it would be on a private property structure.
Okay, then the other question I have, and I'm sorry that I'm asking this, but what do you call, did you address that when people are flashing like a digital, I don't know what that's even called. where
Electronic?
Like a hologram appears like across the street. It's like a lighted, I don't know what they're actually called, to be honest, but it was happening on Chestnut Street a couple different times last year. And it was projected onto someone's building that did not like that projection happening. So I don't know if it's a digital something or other, and does that need to be incorporated into something like this?
Mayor?
Jenny?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Counselor Paulson. So the projection sign that you're speaking of is not what this type of projection sign would be. So I think they're two different things in terminology. That type of projection, I don't believe would be allowed by statute or by ordinance, just in manner of, I mean, it's not maybe specifically addressed the way that you're describing it in here, but you cannot project something onto somebody else's property. If we would know about that, I think there would need to be a report made. I've never heard that was an issue on anyone's property. And there is certain levels of illumination that need to be met or, scaled down to in terms of signage. And
So our current ordinance addresses that and wouldn't need to have added language within it.
I don't believe we would need to add any additional language on that. But again, I haven't heard of that, and I haven't seen that occur.
So if there's an issue, I'll have them call Community
Absolutely.
Development Planning.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
talk it through. Okay, very good. And then that being said, I'm fine with this. I think that's great. Thank you guys for making all the changes. The only other question I have is how do we address the signage issue and when do we address that? Because it is number one campaign season now, and we are coming into our rainy season with all those construction signs or gutter cleaning signs, and how do we make sure that, because I feel like we have something on the books now that says they have to come and get permission. I think so, but nobody ever does that. Yeah, so is that something we would need to direct you, Jenny, to direct planning and zoning to discuss going further?
Mayor?
Jenny?
Thank you. I would say it would go, my recommendation would be to refer it to planning and zoning for further research and work.
Okay, thank you.
There is some information about campaign size, but let's deal with this particular, looking for a motion under 8.6 to approve the first reading of the amending city ordinance, chapter 11, section 11.4, subsection L regarding signage, as recommended by planning and zoning and our community planning director. Looking for a motion.
So move.
Moved by Counselor Boxnar, supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? A motion carries. Thank you. You brought up something about campaign signs.
I would make a motion
Well,
to,
I think, we have some information for you. I don't think a motion is necessary, but let's read that first, then you can make a motion if you like. Please, Pam.
Thank you, Mayor. So there is a ordinance regarding campaign signs. The normal date for posting signs is June 26th through November 13th. But there are some regulations regarding if a city has any restrictions or not. So I will read the ordinance for you. Local jurisdictions may have ordinances restricting the number and size of signs. If a jurisdiction does not have such an ordinance, in an even year, these ordinances cannot be enforced for a specified time before and after Election Day. In 2026, that period lasts from June 26th to November 13th per state statute 211B.045. In jurisdictions which have no sign ordinance, campaign signs may be posted in any size and number throughout the year. The Minnesota Department of Transportation's webpage contains information about signs along highway right-of-way.
Thank you. Counselor Paulson?
Thank you. And I knew we had ones that address campaign signs, but I'm also looking for all those signs that were like literally everywhere. So I will make a motion to maybe direct city staff to work with planning and zoning to come up with some recommendations regarding, what would you call them, yard signs? Temporary signs. And maybe a section in there dealing with campaign signs as well. One of my concerns, the only thing on my concern with a campaign sign is blocking the right of way on a corner lot.
So the motion again is to what?
Would be that, and if campaign signs needs to be like a secondary bullet point, that would be fine. Can't do that, no.
Mr. Lindsay?
Thank you. So what I'm hearing is the motion is, the intent of the motion is to have staff bring back a recommendation to regulate temporary or those temporary advertisement signs, and as part of that, to incorporate the restrictions that state law has during election cycles, during those periods.
Correct. And then just also, does that include the blocking of?
Correct.
Okay, then we're good. Thank you.
Okay, that's your motion? Is there support for that motion? Is there support by Counselor Motley? Counselor Bachschnider? Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.7 is adopt a resolution for repair or removal of a hazardous building located at 604 4th Avenue South. And I know that, thank you very much for your patience and for sitting for this long, arduous council meeting, which was necessary to have. But I know you've been experiencing an issue with this building, your neighbor, for a long, long time, and we've tried to make some efforts to mitigate it. This is our opportunity to do so finally. Please state your name for the record, and welcome to the council meeting.
Patricia Palo, I'm an adjacent property owner. My question is this finally going to go somewhere?
Well, yes, it is. The motion is for the repair or removal of the hazardous building located at 604 4th Avenue South. And that's where the stucco's falling off, and I've been in your house a number of times in that regard, and, city did some work and tried to mitigate some of the things. Notices were given to the owners of the property or the renters, and it's become a big problem. To try to find the owner of that property who is deceased, nobody knows who the owner is. So after all that work and all that patience that you've had, we finally at a point now where our city is going to take some action in that regard.
And it will come down?
Well, I don't know if it'll come down or not. It does say repair or removal of the structure. So if they can't repair it, they'll have to remove it.
The cats continue to live in that building?
And jumping out the windows, I see.
Yes, there's one that has been living out on the street the last few weeks. It sleeps in a cardboard box in front of the door. There's no food or water for it.
We will make sure, Britt, could you ensure that we have some contact with Ms. Palo with respect to the process and the timeline in which to have this resolved? We will do that.
Okay.
I know, anything else, Patricia?
No, I want that building gone.
I can understand your frustration because we have been to your house, I don't know how many times. The trees, the bushes, the wires, the stench, all those things that you've had to deal with, and your other neighbor on the corner as well. And so it has been a difficult time for the neighborhood there, and hopefully we'll get this resolved for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any, Counselor Paulson?
Thank you, Mayor. Can a condemnation motion be made in tandem with this motion going forward?
I
It's
think
infested with cats and it's uninhabited.
we should check, does Jim does he inspect that property, I think, Jim Brown? It's not a rental, so it's a absentee owner who can't be located, a relative lives there. I think that's the case, so.
And the intent is, we'll pass this resolution. She was invited to come to this meeting. Pam will publish it in the paper. We'll get to a point, hopefully within, I don't remember the date, timeline in there, 30 days, 60 days, that we'll go to court and get the court order to demolish it if she doesn't repair it within that timeframe.
Okay.
And we did that on a number of occasions, particularly 8th Street South and 3rd Avenue, at a huge apartment building. We finally had to take some condemnation efforts there through the courts, and they approved the condemnation of that building that was unoccupied.
So should we be taking that another step in tandem with this current one?
I
Or
think
does
that-
it, okay,
Mayor?
okay.
Yeah, this would be the recommendation, Counselor Paulson.
Thank you for that, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I would make a motion.
Go ahead, make the motion.
Support for discussion,
So what was the motion?
not the resolution.
Okay, and the second by Counselor Motley. Further discussion? Counselor Motley?
Patricia, I apologize. I didn't know that you were so far down in the agenda, and had I known that, I would ask to have you moved up. So thank you for your patience. Thank you, Mayor.
Any departing comments from you, please?
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And once again, I do apologize because I should have called you up further, and then we got into a discussion mode on a variety of topics, and, so, but thanks for sticking around.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Next item is item 8. Oh, we got to vote? All those in favor of that motion by Counselor Paulson signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8.7, that was it. And 8.8 is adopt the resolution approving the IAF, the International Association of Firefighters Local 390 contract. Now, this is for this one-year period, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. To the end of this year. Moved by Counselor Skalko. Is there support? Is there support? I'm sorry, I apologize. Moved by Counselor Johnson, supported by
Support for discussion.
Counselor Buck-Snyder. For discussion, further discussion, Counselor Buck-Snyder.
Thank you. Just to confirm, is this within what was budgeted for 2026? Any increases? Yes. Thank you.
And this puts it in line with the police department and all the other bargaining units that their contracts will all expire at the end of this year. And negotiations will begin for 2027 for all contracts in the same year. So it's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8.9. The Personnel Committee that was held on June 1st, 2026. Chair of the Personnel Committee would be Counselor Paulson. Counselor Paulson, did you want to give this Personnel Committee a report, or it could be Counselor Buck-Snyder, or I could read it? Okay, we're good. Let's go. Item 8.9, Personnel Committee that was held on June 1st, 2026. Item 8.9A, it's the adoption of the resolution to hire 3 patrol officers, replacing 3 that left the department.
I'll move.
Move to approve by Counselor Buck-Snyder. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Counselor Motley. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Buck-Snyder.
Thank you. I just recognize how understaffed our police department is and how much overtime we are utilizing it. So I do think adding additional staff in the long run is actually going to be a cost-saving measure for the city. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I said thank you for the Personnel Committee that consists of Counselor Paulson as the chair, Counselor Buck-Snyder, and Counselor Beyondich. Item 8.9B, adopt a resolution to hire 2 community service officers. These are civilians that are in their second year of law enforcement school that help with the duties and responsibilities that are non-law enforcement or criminal related.
I'll move.
Support.
Moved by Counselor Bachschnider, supported by Counselor Paulson. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Bachschnider.
Thank you. And very similar to the patrol officers, we can utilize our community service officers in spaces such as Land of the Loon, fireworks, and other things like that, where then we don't have to have a full-time patrol officer there, typically getting overtime. So again, I see this as a long-term cost-saving measure. Thank you.
It is. Thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.9C, that's still public, correct? Is to approve the hiring of a law firm to proceed with an investigation regarding an employee matter.
So move.
Move to approve by Counselor Bachschnider. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Counselor Paulson. Further discussion? Counselor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Which law firm and how much is it going to cost?
Mr. Lindsay?
Thank you. The recommendation is Resolute Law. It's a newer firm that started up, but the attorney that would be doing the investigation is Callie, I think it's Kelberg Nelson is the name, and we're probably looking at a cost of somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000.
So I know this is a professional service, but is there not a contract? Is there not something that we need to prove as a council other than just hiring an attorney? I mean, the wording on here is very generic and general.
Mr. Lindsay?
Thank you. There would be a retainer agreement, and that's the price that I understood is the ballpark range. Obviously, if it went a lot further, we could do a not to exceed price on the contract, and that way we could control the cost that way as well.
I'm really not comfortable approving a non-existent contract with no fees listed in the agenda. We're so diligent on everything else, how we're going to pay for it, where's the sheet requesting the contract, all that, and this is literally a line at the bottom of agenda. I am not comfortable moving forward with the way it's presented.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to Counselor Motley. This was vetted by the Personnel Committee, so thank you. Counselor Motley.
And I'm not trying to bring anything out publicly, but honestly, I have no idea what this is about because I'm not on the Personnel Committee. So is it something we have to talk about in closed session, I'm assuming?
Mr. Lindsay?
If we were going to discuss and get into the details of it, it would start in a closed session, and then obviously the individual who's the subject would have some rights there that we would need to inform them of.
So when we go into closed session later, do we have to add this to the closed session, or can we just talk about it when we go in? We can't? Oh, so we can't talk about it, so I don't know who does as a counselor. Okay. All right, I guess less is more maybe. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So D and E are closed session, and D is closed session and possible open session. So if it's amenable to the council, can we go through item 10, 11, and 12 before we go to closed session, or would you prefer to go to closed session and go open back up?
I think it would make sense to go to 10, 11, 12, but we still have to vote on.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my question. So before we do that. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
No.
Roll call, please, Pam.
Bachschnider?
Aye.
Stelco?
Aye.
Huffy?
Aye.
Johnson?
No.
Motley?
Yes.
Paulson?
Aye.
Yondich?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you. Let's just move to item 10 on the agenda, Commission Liaison Reports. Does any council have a Commission Liaison report they'd like to give this evening? Councilor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor.
Paulson.
I have a couple of commission liaison reports today. I'm going to steal some thunder a little bit, was the kickoff to summer reading this morning, or this afternoon at 2 o'clock at the public library. I don't know what the final number is, but while I was there, they were putting up extra tables in the event room to house the children and adults that were there. It looked great. There are our teen volunteers and friends of the public library were upstairs coordinating games and prizes and signups and all kinds of amazing stuff. So it was great to see. I've also been asked by the Human Rights Commission to announce that it is Pride Month, letting folks know who they are, living their lives and loving. It is also, I believe, if I remember right, I didn't write it down, Native American History Month. So the Human Rights Commission is actively engaged in supporting that. There is also, next Friday is the Juneteenth celebration in Chestnut Street, which is also being sponsored by the Human Rights Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Johnson. Councilor Paulson?
Thank you, Mayor. I just, Jenny had emailed and said it was okay. I shared again the community development update. So at our VITA meeting this month, Jenny was able to update us on the housing Midway apartment project that is continuing to advance. On the commercial and industrial development side, the proposed hotel development remains under legal review. So that is still continuing. The infrastructure and redevelopment on the Mesabi Trail sign pilot project continues, and it will have broader connectivity, which is wonderful. Community and regional initiatives, grant applications were submitted to the LCCMR and Minnesota DNR outdoor recreation programs for the Splash Pad project. And coordination, City of Mountain Iron is complete with land ownership between the 9th Street North Hoover Road 53 location there. So that's an update on the new MnDOT, which that roadway, I don't know when that will be completely blocked off, but eventually that will happen. And then regionally, VITA has been, and Jenny has been working with the Laurentian Main Street program, including the development of meeting timelines across the Quad Cities. So there's an Iron Range Child Care Task Force that hosted a community forum, or is hosting a community forums to examine the economic impacts of childcare availability in the region. And Northspan and Northland Foundation hosted a second round session to move forward with an action plan. So there are some really good things happening here, and I will give my shameless plug one more time. Anyone who is not steam converted, please, please, please call Jenny in our community development planning. And I don't think it's still too late, but there are buildings that are still not steam converted, and there are ways to help you if you're feeling overwhelmed. Our city staff can walk you through the process, and please contact them, and they will help you out. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Bachschneider?
Thank you. I was going to bring up steam conversions as well, so maybe I'll just piggy off of Councilor Paulson. But I'm wondering if we can get a list of those who are not yet steam converted and have not made contact. My fear is that come October, we're going to not have the legal rationale to turn the steam off, and we're going to have to keep it on for XYZ reason. So if we can get that list and then any action steps that have been taken to contact them, just for us to review, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
And I did have a conversation with one of the clerks over there at the Public Utilities, and there is a list that they have available, so we'll make sure that we get that list for everyone. Those who are currently, the buildings that are currently being occupied that have it, and those who are not occupied that have not they haven't been able to contact them. They haven't had any heat, or they're there for years, so thank you. Okay, any other commission liaison reports to bring today? I'll move to item 11, department head reports. Is there any department head that would like to give a report today? Jody, just like I said with Ms. Palo, thank you for your patience and understanding as we went through this budget process and the city council meeting. I had a big agenda, so welcome.
Thank you. I am, as Steve said, today was kickoff for summer reading. It was organized chaos. Kids had a great time. They picked up, they talked to all sorts of different people. They have their booklets. Some of them made seed starters. They learned about what it is to be a graphic artist, and they all made some books. So count was, I don't know, I think 70 plus. I'm not exactly sure, but there's also some really cool pictures on our Instagram and Facebook accounts, so check those out. Yeah, I'm just here to promote summer reading. We have 3 different levels, just depending on who is reading. Everybody is welcome. Yes, that includes everybody in your family. We had kickoff today. We have our normal book club on Thursday, and then on Friday, we have a makerspace, so it's just a drop-in, come and create. We have a lot of people that like to just kind of create a whole bunch of different things. Of course, because we're part of Arrowhead, we do have some bigger events coming up. One of them is a Jolly Pops, which is a musical thing. If you like reptiles, that is on the 24th of June. Definitely not my thing. I will be working the desk. I don't like snakes. We have a Rubik's Cube competition again, and this is a request of some of our regular patrons because they had so much fun, and that is on the 17th. We have a Frog and Toad picnic, which is on the 18th. So if you are old enough to remember Frog and Toad, yes, that is what we're referring to, and weather permitting, it'll be outside. Our calendar is on the website. You can stop in, you can pick up. We have our regular monthly calendars, but also you can pick up like a summer reading calendar, which has all our events for June and July. We will conclude summer reading with an escape room, again, backed by popular demand. And the theme of this one is a fairy escape room because the theme is plant a seed and read. And so we have leaned into the flowers and the planting and the fairy gardens and anything you can think of to keep people interested in that. So come join us at the library. If you have any questions, you can give us a call at 218-748-7525 or check our website.
Thank you, Jody, very much. A lot of things going on there. Okay, we'll move to item number 12, council reports. Anybody want to give a report? I already asked, right? So Councilor Paulson?
Thank you. I did want to relay, I had a resident stop in my business today, and her name is Miss Donna Peralt, and she wanted to make sure that if I could pass along a very big thank you and compliment to Jim Rosfit and our Public Works staff for taking down the trees in such a quick manner, grinding the stumps, replanting the new trees, and cleaning the debris from the streets. And she just wanted to tell everyone how much she appreciated their hard work and to thank Jim and his wonderful crew, and that maybe she will have more chocolate-covered strawberries next time they are around her property. So that's what I wanted to report. Thank you.
Thank you. And I was going to report the same thing because Donna gets around. Okay, we'll cross that off the list. I had Councilor Bachschneider.
Thank you. I have 3 things this evening. One thing that I just wanted to point out is that at the Personnel Committee, one thing that came up for our discussion was to discuss the internal posting of candidates. There was one position in repair crew, one position in on-call wastewater collections operator, one utility worker at the ITMEC, and one blight officer. And Greg Lency was here earlier talking about positions that were being posted, and those were the police officer ones, but we also had the opportunity to essentially eliminate 3 of these positions through attrition and 1 position through action to ensure that we are downsizing our staff as we continue to speak about, and that action was not taken. So I just wanted to give an update on that. The second item that I have is our committee of the whole elimination going forward, at least for this summer period. As we all know, tonight's meeting was a long one. I don't think anyone is going to sit here and deny that, and I know we still have closed session to go into after this. One thing I'm requesting, though, from city staff and what was initially in my vision, I didn't think this first meeting would be the smoothest one ever. Change usually never is particularly smooth. But one thing that was in my vision that I thought would assist with all of us if going forward, so today is June 9th, our next meeting is going to be scheduled for June 23rd. We have a lot of additional action items that we're asking city staff to follow up on and bring to us for that meeting on the 23rd. If that could be provided to the council a week in advance, so on June 16th, that would give the council a chance to at least read the follow-up items, and it would give city staff a week to gather the information, so kind of split the difference. Because I think a lot of the time we sit at these meetings and we ask a lot of questions that if staff had enough time to prepare it and we had enough time to read it, I think a lot of our questions could be answered with a quick, simple phone call, that maybe not all of us are wondering on certain things. So my request going forward is that the Tuesday after by, I don't know, noon or whatever feels reasonable for staff, that the follow-up items are sent out. I believe that is all I had tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Bachschnider. So does anybody else have a council report that they'd like to give? I guess we have Councilor Motley giving another council report, so then we'll get to you momentarily. Councilor Motley.
I guess it's not a report, it was just under other items, if that's appropriate for right now. Or I know it's not on there, but we don't really have that other items anymore. so.
We don't, there's a reason for that. Yes.
Well, it's just quick and easy, I think.
Go ahead.
Okay. It's just talking about the future finance meetings that we were doing at 7 in the morning before the committee of the whole, and now that we've axed the committee of the wholes temporarily for the next 3 months, just wondering if we want to maybe talk about potentially changing that to the day of the city council or not, just throwing it out for a topic of discussion. Anybody's interested in throwing it on before the city council meeting? Like 2 or 3 o'clock, but anyway, that's just my thoughts, that's it, thank you.
Anybody else? Anyone else? Councilor Bachschnider?
Thank you. I'm not opposed to doing a work session prior to that, would it be the fourth Tuesday of the month, for an hour to still discuss finances. I think that would be appropriate. Thank you.
And we could just have Pam Sullivan notice for that. Thank you. Okay, any other reports? Okay. I have one item, and I mentioned it last week, and I'm going to bring it up again. And I've talked to a lot of communities and got a lot of feedback from a lot of people who call me about this matter, and that's the Minnesota state flag. I have no disrespect for the one we have now, but I'm asking for council to approve us to fly the old one as well. So I'm looking for a motion to do that. Pardon?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear. Are you asking to fly both flags?
Yes, I'm asking to be able to fly the old state flag as well.
I will make that motion.
Okay, is there support?
Support.
Support by Councilor Motley. Further discussion? Councilor Johnson.
Then my question is, will we be flying the old United States flags, the 48 star flag as well? This was a law passed by the state of Minnesota, and as a municipality, we don't get to pick and choose what laws we follow, and I think that if anybody takes the time to understand what the old flag represents and what the new flag represents, I can't get behind the flag if you haven't read the poem written by the wife of the individual who wrote or who designed the previous flag. It may behoove you to understand the racist and the segregational meaning behind much of the stuff on that flag. The new flag was brought forth by many individuals, compiled, voted on by the legislature. I will not be supporting displaying both flags. Thank you.
And with all due respect to you, Councilor Johnson, I don't care. I didn't ask to fly the state, the United States flag. I'm just asking to fly the old flag. And yes, I'm well aware of that poem. And I'm well aware of the history of that flag. And for many, many years, it was never considered racist until today's society. I don't want to get involved in the political stuff. I don't want to get involved in the societal stuff and everybody's opinions about that. I'm simply saying that this state flag represented a lot of things about our state of Minnesota. And so if you take a look at the new flag, and just read briefly, you look, where did that star come from, or supposedly a star? Came from the trazzo floor in the rotunda of the state capitol. That's the exact same image, comes from the rotunda floor. So whoever submitted things to vote on, it was voted on the legislature, that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. All I'm asking to do is fly the flag, the old state flag, without any racial connotations in any way, shape, or form. It's a matter of respect for our state of Minnesota. So everybody has their personal opinion about that. All of a sudden, it's become a controversial, so they had to have a new state flag. I'm just asking, there's a vote on the floor, a motion to approve. There's a motion moving forward. The vote goes the way the vote goes. So it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
No.
Roll call, please.
Stelco?
No.
Huffy?
Yes?
Johnson?
No.
Motley?
Yes.
Paulson?
Aye.
Beyondich?
Aye.
Bachschnider?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-2. Thank you. Okay, any other come before the council? Councilor Johnson.
Thank you. For clarification, will this be at all city properties and buildings?
That's the motion. To fly it at wherever we fly our flag, wherever we have the state flag. Not the United States flag, state flag. And I took the old one that I got taken down here and put in the basement of this facility in a cardboard box. I resurrected that. It's hanging in my office right now, and it'll continue to stay there until the end of my term. Okay, so any other reports to come forward? Let's move back to item 8.9D. Looking for motion to go into closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D.05, Subdivision 2, Paragraph B, regarding the preliminary consideration of allegations or charges against an individual subject to council authority.
So move.
Moved by Councilor Bachschnider, supported by Councilor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Thank you. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back in. 4 hours is too long for you.